From Darling Stadium in Hampton, WHCS Cable Channel 46 presents Peninsula District Football, the Phoebus Phantoms and the Hampton Crabbers. Good evening, everybody. I'm Tim Cole along with Bob Pence. We welcome you to Darling Stadium for what I've determined to be the game of the year. Well, this is the one.
Not only the game of the year, but what is your other cliche you use?
Oh, I got to get to that one in a minute. It is a perfect night for football for this game. You know, we always worry about the weather conditions, but it couldn't be any better tonight. Cool temperatures, no wind, no chance of rain, the conditions you want to have for the undefeated Hampton Crabbers at 8-0 and the once beaten Phoebus Phantoms at 7-1. And Bob, this game is huge for both squads.
Well, it really is. And you know, if you looked at the teams at the beginning of the year, everybody said, well, Hampton's going to repeat because they had such a good nucleus coming back, and they got Carlos Campbell transferred over there. But and you kind of wrote off Phoebus because they lost so many seniors on their team. But they've had some young men that stepped up and do a good job. I thought the Daily Press did a great article on Maurice Shanks the other day. You know, he's had some problems, but he's stepped up, he's matured, he's a leader on the team, and Bill D says this is the best bunch of kids he had, and this is what keeps him into coaching.
Well, and you know, very briefly about the situation with Maurice. Hey, kids are kids. You know, you grow up. I'd like to think that none of us would want to go back to when we were 17 or 18 and examine everything we might have done or not done. But
we won't go there.
No, we'll just leave that alone. But these are young men, and you have to understand, they have to remember that these are high school sophomores, sometimes even freshmen out here. These young men are 14, 15, 16 years old. So moving forward from that, Maurice Shanks has done a great job. Bill D, let's give credit. You know, we talk about the Hampton coaching staff, and as well we should. But Bill D's got a great nucleus over there because these guys have taken a very young team after a lot of graduations and done a great job.
Well, and he calls them overachievers, but he's got a staff that's been with him just about as long as he's been at Phoebus. Like Mike, you get that continuity with your staff. They help you with the preparation. They take some of the pressure off of you so that you can be doing some other things that you need to be, you know, thinking about and getting prepared for the next opponent, because these guys do prepare one game at a time. They don't look ahead in their schedule, but you know, in the back of their minds, this has been a big game all year long, and it's been a big one on our calendar. This is our last regularly scheduled game that we're going to do this year. Now we'll do the playoffs, but this was one we said, man, if we had to finish up the year, this is the game we want to do.
And we had no control of the way the schedule worked out, but we're certainly glad that it worked out the way it has. Now let's talk very briefly about Phoebus. Leon Mizell, the quarterback, has done a great job of developing this year. This young kid, McWright, he's really come on. Jason Fan, the aforementioned Shanks. These guys have done a great job.
They really have, Tim, and what really makes it neat is that you see Mizell from the first year to the last game that we did, he was kind of struggling passing the ball. And then we watch him against Bethel. He throws 2 touchdown passes to Shank, one a beautiful fade pattern in the corner of the end zone, another on a crossing row, and that's what won the game for them, was that combination. They've got a lot of confidence in him throwing the ball, got a lot of confidence in Shanks catching the ball, and then you look at this McWright kid, he just come out of nowhere and has done a great job. They got a young man by the name of Xavier Adibi. We can call him the X-Man in the future, but this young man, just a freshman, is playing a lot on defense and is bringing some things to this team that Bill is just excited about.
As well as should. Let's go back in time. Bob had a chance a little earlier to talk with head coach Bill D of the Phoebus Phantoms.
I have the Phantoms coach with me, Coach D, and Bill. First of all, you've had a great season, but a lot of people at the beginning of the year would not have put you with only one loss at this point in the season.
Well, I think a lot of people wrote us off even before the season started because we were heavy in losses with, you know, a lot of people. And then, you know, we had one of our best players transfer out, and then we lost to Heritage, and, you know, but the kids have been resilient and will not, you know, give in. And Daily Press, we were talking to them this week, and they asked me about why do I stay in coaching. It's a group of kids like this that keep you in coaching. Right. You know, they've overachieved, they've worked hard, and they're a great group of kids.
Well, I know when we talked to you the week after you lost to Heritage, you said that next Monday, you said the kids come out there and they worked hard. That's what this coaching's about, is the kids. Yeah. And when you have a good bunch of kids, it just really makes it great, doesn't it?
It does. After that loss, I think most high school kids, a lot of high school kids would have just, looked at their season and concentrated on how bad they had played, where these kids came back and then we never looked back from that point on, to be honest with you. And I got to give a lot of credit to my assistants. They've done a great job with these kids. You can't do it without a great assistance.
And your assistant's been with you for a long time, and that makes it a big deal too because of continuity.
Yeah, continuity and being through a lot of things together, and that experience really helps.
Well, listen, good luck to you tonight.
I appreciate it.
Good enough.
Okay.
Of course, Bill D and his Phoebus Phantoms, last 2 times they've played Hampton in the playoffs last year, they lost 28-6. And then in the last regular season game in a thriller, Phoebus lost 10-7. So they're on at least a 2-game losing streak there, but these boys are going to be ready tonight.
Well, they really are, and you got to be ready because these kids know each other, and that makes a big difference when you're playing an opponent. Like if you play somebody from the southeastern or the Beach District or somewhere, you don't know those kids like you know the guys that live in Hampton, and you've seen them when you played a little league baseball or Colt League or football or whatever. They see these guys all the time, so they know them. But, we got to look at the Hampton Crabbers, Tim. They've had young men that step up and have just done some remarkable things. I'm just amazed at this Marcus Higgins, how well he's done. 16 years old is his age, Tim. He's a senior, and he is running this club like unbelievable, and he's got some good help. There's no doubt about it, but last week we got to see a surprise. A young man by the name of Raymond Mann. Plays offensive tackle and defensive linebacker, get the ball and outrun the secondary. Goes 91 yards in 5 plays, and one of them was 66. So, what else do the Crabbers have, right?
Well, and they have it all. They've got the running attack. They got Mac Jones, who's doing a great job. They got Higgins, who can run with the ball. He's extremely elusive, very quick. Higgins is throwing the ball well. Higgins is responsible for 25 touchdowns, both passing and running this season. A lot of people always want to compare. And is Ronald Curry comparable to Higgins or vice versa? Probably not. But in my opinion, I think this Hampton team as a team is probably the best Hampton team I've seen ever.
Well, let's put it in perspective. Ronald Curry, 16-year-old, was a sophomore.
Yeah. And
Higgins was a 15-year-old as a junior and won a state championship. Ronald Curry didn't win one at 15 years of age. But that beside the point, he is a youngster. And to me, that makes a big difference that he can come out here and has the maturity to run this club. And it is a good club, and the kids respond to him, and the coaching staff has a lot of confidence in him, and he's just showing it every game. He's getting better and better and better.
Well, and again, the individuals are great in their own respect, but as a cohesive team, Hampton's really tough to beat, and Phoebus will have their hands full tonight. But it should be a good one. We're excited about it. Before we come back with the lineups, let's go back in time again. Bob had a chance to talk with head coach Mike Smith of the Hampton Crabbers.
I have the Crabber head coach with me, Mike Smith. And Mike, this has been a quick year, but your team has been on the block every week because you were the number 1 last year. People are after you, but yet you get your guys prepared each game. They don't look forward to the next game.
Well, it's a week-to-week thing. Always has been. It's just a matter of preparation and trying to focus on your opponent that week.
Right. Well, now, having the coaching staff that's been with you for a long time, that continuity, that's got to help you in your preparations.
Well, they are the preparation. They do a big part of it. Danny and Alice, Lanny, those guys. And they've been around a long time. And great coaches, great people, and have a real good relationship with the kids. So certainly they're the biggest part of this winning tradition that we've had.
Right. And, and that's one thing that everybody talks about is the winning tradition at Hampton. But it doesn't come just because you got lucky. You got to put work into it. You got to put your time in. And you got to have some people that are in the skill positions that can do the job when you ask them to do it.
Well, I guess we must have had those people for a long time. I think the biggest thing is, we've been fortunate. We've had some good athletes. But the kids that we've had have worked awfully hard, too. They worked hard in preparation, and And they worked hard this week, so hopefully they'll have a good game tonight.
Well, I hope so too, Mike, and good luck to you tonight.
Now, thanks.
Good enough. Stay tuned for tonight's starting lineups.
Back here at Darling Stadium, I want to tell you that tonight's game is brought to you through the sponsorship of the following. Zoom's Sitco with 5 Hampton locations.
When gearing up for your next print job, call Gear Up.
By the Family Dentistry of Dr. Scott and Hunter Francis. By Hampton Chevrolet at 1073 West Mercury Boulevard in Hampton. By your Allstate agents, Robert Mann and James Hudson. And in part by Stallion Brothers Heating and Cooling. And in part by Wood Funeral Home, where Richard Pulley is the managing director. Well, Bob, we've talked about it on the field. We're up here in the booth now. We've been looking forward to this game ever since the first game of the season, quite frankly.
Yeah, I go back and I look at their schedule, Tim, and I say, yep. There's the big one.
There's the big
down
one.
there, October 29th, 1999.
But, we talked about it. I don't want to beat it to death, but I don't know that a lot of people really thought that Phoebus would be in a position with one defeat. Now, granted, the one defeat was a resounding defeat at Heritage, but, anyone can lose a game on any given night. So you have to kind of throw one of those out there when the rest of the time Phoebus has been extremely efficient. They allowed just 13 points a game on average. They're number 6 in the region with better than 28 points per game scoring. On the other hand, Hampton is number 1 in the region with 41 plus, and they're number 2 on defense, allowing just 2.3 points per game. So something has to give. Let's go down to the field right now as we have the pregame ceremonies with referee Mike Mitchell.
That's all we want to see out here, okay?
Well, what he's doing is he told me he's going to talk to the players, and he said, I'm not going to let you hear that. That's what I got to say to them, but then I'll turn it on when I introduce the officials and all that.
You got one chance with us, and after that, we take it. All right? You might not like what we do. Yes, ma'am? All right, back it up just a little bit. Another official. Mr. Davis, Mr. Tusi, okay? Hey, we're going to call you guys red captain, gold captain. We know what we're doing. We're playing football, right? All right? We're going to toss it, call in the air. We call heads, and you chose to defer to the second half. Right there. Okay, your choice, and you want to receive, and we kick in from the scoreboard. Turn you back to the scoreboard. Turn you back this way.
Taking it to second half. So Hampton will be receiving.
Shake them up, baby. Shake them up.
All right, there you heard the pregame ceremonies. And again, real briefly, the officials are Mike Mitchell. Mike Mann is the umpire. The linesman is Mike Hextall. The line judge is Mike Tucci. And then with all those mics, and then they finally let a Scott and a John in there. Scott Davis is
Scott and a John.
That's right. Back judge is Scott Davis, and your field judge is John Patrick.
Okay.
And you may have been able to hear the Phantoms won the toss and elected to defer to the second half. Gutsy call. You put your defense, which Phoebus considers to be their best strength, on the field first.
Well, and if you're lucky and you can get Hampton to make a mistake, or you can get a situation, put them in long and third, and maybe make them punt and get some good field position, that's what you're working for. A lot of people would not give the ball to Hampton first.
Back deep for the Crabbers. Far side of the field will be Marcus Higgins. The middle of the field, Carlos the X-Man Campbell. And to the near side will be Derek Fenner. Now, I don't want to belabor the point, but part of the reason that this rivalry becomes as heated as it is Carlos Campbell was a very important member of this Phoebus team last year, and, of course, moved into the Hampton High School area and switched teams. And, of course,
When you do that, you don't take a lot of friends with you.
Nope, but we'll let it go at that. We are set to get this one underway, and Paul Pavlik will kick a relatively short kickoff taken at the 19-yard line. This
Fenner.
is Derek Fenner, and Fenner is still going, and he is out to the 40-yard line.
Well, that was a good return by Fenner, Tim. He really looked like he was going to be stopped at about the 32-3-yard line and really got it out across the 40.
21 yards on the return.
Nice blocking, just a return right up the gut, trying to find a seam. Watch the replay. They're just trying to find a seam and try to break it. And you notice he's going to take it right up the middle and then just kind of hunt and peck his way. And right there, he ran out of a couple of tackles.
All right, we'll give you the starting offensive and defensive lineups in just a moment, as the Crabbers will start with good field position from their 40-yard line. Hagen's on the inside trap. This is Forte, and Forte pulls his way all the way down to the Phoebus 42-yard line.
That was an inside trap, Tim. I haven't seen that play very often, but boy, it worked good then. Watch the, we'll get the lineup for you.
43-yard line is where they've marked the football, so it's at the 43, Bob.
Well, Bob, we can't tell the 43 from 42.
I don't know.
Is that the way he
43.
kept score today on the golf course?
Let's not get into that. Not much happening there, as maybe a half a yard for Mac Jones, number 33. Here are the lineups for both squads. For the Crabbers on offense, Hagens is your quarterback. Your fullback is Forte. Mac Jones is the tailback. The wideouts are Campbell. Split end is Mann. Tight end Callaway. Center is Smith. The guards are Perry and Tidwell. Robinson and Mann are your tackles. And, of course, your punter is Alan Johnson. Your kicker is Brian Smith, son of the coach.
Son of the coach.
Picked up maybe a half a yard. It's second down, or let's call it a long 9. Just underway from Darling Stadium. Hampton with the ball for the first time. On the option, Hagens keeps it, and he is stopped at the 41-yard line. So the Phoebus Phantoms gave up a big play on the first play from line of scrimmage, but they've tightened up since.
Here's your defense. On tackles, we have 66 Fan and 79 Littlejohn. The Blunt and Lachlan are the ends. The linebacker, Pauling, Ellis, and Edmonds, who just made that tackle. Mizell and Sarkey are the corners. The free safety is Shanks, and the strong safety is Joe Lewis.
Check out your neighborhood Zooms. They have 5 convenient Hampton locations. All right, it's third down and long, third down and 8 for the Crabbers. Double wide receivers, top of the screen. On the play action, Jason Fan has Hagens in his eyesight, but can't get a hold of him. The elusive Hagens at the 40, and he is down at the 35-yard line, about 2 yards short of a first down. But again, this might be 4-down territory.
Well, you know, and that was a great run, but I was impressed the way that the defense, if you watch this replay, you watch the defense really made a move and just closed in on the runner, Hagens, before he had a chance to pick up. Right here, it looks like he was going to be able to pick it up. And then look at all the Phantom shirts just like a magnet.
Crabbers go to the line at 4th and 2, apparently going to go for it. Watch for the hard count. Something the Crabbers use effectively. This time they do snap the ball. The pitch near side is to Mac Jones, and he will not get the first down. The Phoebus defense comes up big and stops them at the 35. It'll go over on downs.
Tom Gear is involved with the Boys and Girls Club in Hampton. They are in the process of raising money to build a new gym as you watch this replay. Your donations would be appreciated. If you have any questions, call Tom Gear at 827-8277. What a great defensive job, the defensive coach for the Phantoms, and that's Navard, Tim, and they just are swarming to the ball.
First real test of the ball game, and it's won by the Phantoms as they are able to stop this high-powered offense of the Crabbers. We'll give you the offense. Now we've got movement, and the Phantoms, a couple of players jump. That'll cost them 5. We'll give you the starting offensive and defensive lineup. Here's the Phantoms on offense.
You got Mazzell at quarterback. The fullback is Lewis. The tailback, McCrite. The flanker, Ellis. The split end, Shanks. The tight end, Taylor. Alan Pavlik is the center. The guards are Braxton and Blackley. The tackles are Page and Edmonds, and the punter kicker is Paul Pavlik.
So the 5-yard assessment against the Phantoms for illegal procedure is first down and 15.
Well, you don't want to start off with your first series, your first play. You end up with a 5-yard loss.
Mizell over the middle throws it for the tight end, Harris, Shaheed Harris.
270,
6'3", 270.
He catch that ball, he's going to run over some people.
Sophomore tight end was unable to bring the ball in. I will give you the Crabbers on defense. The guards are Williams and Smith. The tackles are Davis and Forte. Jones and Gunter are the defensive ends. The linebackers are Lee and Mann. The corners are Higgins and Fenner. And Carlos Campbell is the safety. So second down and 15 for the Phantoms. Double wide outs to the right side. To the near side is Musa Sarki, split out of the I formation. Mizell on the delayed handoff. And this is McWright. And McWright bulls his way to the 45-yard line. Showed some power
Close to the first down.
as he knocked down Mac Jones and got very close to the first down. It'll be just short. Maybe a foot short of the first down. Watch the replay.
Just a draw play, Tim, a delay. And you see there he was hit at the 46, and I'm sorry, at the 41, and the ball is almost at the 45.
14-yard pickup for McWright. And this now brings up a third down and less than a yard to go. The Phantoms need to cross the 45. Again, out of the I. And this is the handoff for the first down to the 49-yard line.
Nice inside move that time.
That was Joe Lewis, number 34, the senior fullback, 5'10", 195-pounder, who picked up almost 5, give him a little more than 4, and a first down at the Phantom 49.
The family dentistry, Dr. Scott and Francis, Hunter Francis, I'm sorry, Dr. Scott and Hunter Francis at 30. Let me try this
that again after this play. Sometimes your tongue gets all tangled up.
Yeah, sometimes. I get so excited about this ball game. But the family dentistry of Dr. Scott and Hunter Francis are located at 2038 Nickerson Boulevard. Call them at 851-3530. Evening and Saturday appointments are available.
All right, the ball is marked at the Hampton 48-yard line. Third down and...
yeah, it looks like about a 7.
The marker says 2nd and 7. Yeah, 2nd and 7.
Well,
Mizell, this is a lateral to Shanks. Flag down at the line of scrimmage as Shanks has first down yardage, but the penalty will be a determining factor.
maybe he moved too soon. I don't know. We'll have to see what the call is. You're in good hands with your Allstate agents, Robert Mann and James Hudson. Give them a call for your insurance needs at 827-1200. The flag came out rather quick, so I'm not sure what it is.
Well, it's
illegal procedure.
So
great call that time.
Somebody moved prematurely. Good call, and good call on the offense. Not a good call to get the penalty to back you up. Had been enough for first. Listen to Mike Mitchell. So the ball is moved back to the Phantom side of the field at the 47-yard line. Second down now. Instead of a first down, that was a big penalty there. Second down and 12. You just can't give the Hampton defense extra shots at you. Mizell on play action. Another flag down. Got a man wide open at the 35-yard line. This is Shanks, and he goes out of bounds at the 26-yard line. But again, a penalty flag at the line of scrimmage.
Tim, I think a Hampton Crabber was lined up in the neutral zone. I'm not sure. We'll see.
Mike Mitchell, the referee, will show us in a moment. It appears that the play will stand. The flag is down, and as of yet, no one. Now, they've already moved the yard markers, which sounds like it might be a little premature as well. And no one seems to realize or understand that there's a penalty flag on the play. So I'm going to hope, for the purposes of the yard markers, that it's against Hampton because, well, now they're having to bring them back.
Yeah, I can't believe that they moved.
You don't move those things until it's official. Here's the replay. And the fine throw and catch by Shanks. Now, see, they're going to have to reset the yard markers because apparently this penalty will go against the Phantoms. So the chain gang over there a little quick on the trigger. Illegal shift against the Phantoms. So you don't see that happen very often. The ball, they still haven't got the yard markers right at all. The yard line was the 47. The ball was on Phoebus's 47, so should move. Now they've got it on the 48. They're way off. They're not only way off by a yard, they're off by 6 yards because the ball should be on the 42. Right. See, the original line of scrimmage was the 47 because I remember saying it.
And they've got a yard out. It was 2nd and 12.
Oh, they blew that. The chain gang picked up the stuff and moved. My gracious, they've messed the whole thing up by 6 full yards. If you rewind the tape, you'll see what I'm talking about. Nothing happening left side.
That was young number Travis McCright ran right into Alonzo Gunter.
Boy, I can't get over this. The chain gang just blew that big time, Bob. They should never move those chains until there's
that's Alfonso Gunter. Yeah, but you're right. You wait till the man tells you to move. You just don't take off running.
Well, Phoebus benefited 6 yards on offense from that. Now, they didn't get any extra yard. They moved the rest of the chains down there, too. But, of course, that's all history now. Moving forward, 3rd and long, 3rd and 17. Mizell out of the shotgun. And he'll keep it on the quarterback draw. Flag down in the backfield again.
And well, I tell you, this is really hurting Phoebus because there were some real positives on their offense there. They had called some plays that were working and 3 consecutive penalties.
Well, you just can't commit those penalties. And there's Bill D in the middle of your picture. He's got to be wondering what in the world is going on here. My team is moving the ball, but they're killing themselves with these penalties, these mental errors.
Now they're going to decline it because they're going to make it's 4th down. They're going to make them punt it.
Absolutely.
And we're not sure if that's 4th and 12 or 4th and 42 or
it's 4th and 12 on the field. They got the proportions correctly. They just didn't get where the ball was.
They just didn't get to the right spot on the field. Exactly. I understand.
All right, Havlik back to punt. Feels very slight pressure from the Crabbers.
Nice
good-looking kick. Higgins will field it at the 10. Higgins wants to go back across the field. Now cuts back, and the Phantom special team says, you're not cutting back anywhere.
They are just look like they're hungry defensively.
All right, the Crabbers will have it for the 2nd time, and they'll be deep in their own territory. Ball just shy of their 9-yard line. The weather conditions tonight, temperature at game time in the low to mid 60s. There's no breeze to speak of. It's just ideal, a perfect night for football. I can't say it often enough. Here's the replay. Higgins.
He gets it right at the 10-yard line. Thought he'd pick up some blocking, but the special teams just did an outstanding job. Actually lost a yard on that return.
All right, the Crabbers back on offense for the 2nd time. First time they had it, they were stopped on a 4th down by about 1.5 yards. Let's see if they have better success on this one. The handoff inside to Forte, and Forte is out across the 15 to about the 17-yard line.
Tim, he was actually stopped in the backfield, but just kept his feet moving and found a little seam. Watch this. There's a look at Carlos Campbell's got something in his eye. They're working on him on the sideline.
Might have some contact problem, I'm guessing.
I'm sorry.
Slide into the team box and move him back.
It's a contact, so he's ready to go back in. He's got it squared away. Diane Lemrick take care of it. Great article in the paper a couple days ago by Darnell Hollier. I'll get it right in a minute. Boy, my tongue isn't even working today.
2nd down and 2, and this is a 1st down and more. Higgins at the 40-45 all the way out close to midfield.
Well, that was no more than a fake to the runner and then just followed up on the opposite side where there was a seam.
And after the first few plays of this game, I got to look for a hanky after every play. Fortunately, for all of us, no penalty flag.
Watch this play. Nice move right here and a missed tackle. But, Tim, he come up limping. As you see him running back to the huddle, he's got a little giddy-up in his...
It's a hitch in his giddy-up.
Is that what it is? His giddy-up has got a hitch in it.
33 yards for Higgins on that rush. First down, ball squarely marked at midfield as we're hitting the 4:30 mark in the first period. No score between Hampton and Phoebus. Game videotaped on the 29th of October, 1999. And again, this is Mac Jones down to the 42-yard line as he picks up 8. Hey, we're happy to have Wood Funeral Home again as one of our community supporters this year. Wood Funeral Home, where the funeral director is Richard Pulley, and on staff are Bill Leggett and Bill White. And again, we thank Wood Funeral Home for being a corporate supporter of high school sports here on Channel 46.
We do appreciate them.
All right, second down and 2. After the 8-yard pickup.
I notice Phoebus is playing much tighter on the split receivers.
Mac Jones, he is down to the 30 and another Hampton first down.
Number 4, Michael Norwood, is being in on a lot of tackles, and he's one of your cornerbacks, and he's not necessarily the man you need to be making all your tackles.
Most of the yardage now in this first quarter on the ground, and Hampton coming into the game is number 5 in the region, averaging almost 200 yards per game, averaging 5.9 yards every time they rush the ball. Ball marked at the 30-yard line. First down for the Crabbers. No score here in the first quarter. Hampton's been down here before, but came away with nothing as Mac Jones picks up about 6.
Maury Palvey, number 15, one of those young kids in the back. He's a 11th grader playing linebacker, sometimes plays defensive end, in on the tackle that time.
Hampton Chevrolet is a locally owned business, and they strongly believe in supporting both the community and the schools. Hampton Chevrolet at 1073 West Mercury Boulevard in Hampton. Second down and 4.
It looks like Hampton ran the same play about 3 times in a row.
They try it again, and Forte is stopped cold, and that has not happened prior, as Forte has been on the positive side of yardage each of the previous times he carried, but this time the middle of that Phoebus defense was ready for him.
Well, and the linebackers were shooting the gap, Bill, and that makes, Tim, and that makes it Bill.
Yeah, where did that come from?
Well, I was thinking Bill D did a good job of calling that and getting his linebackers to hit they really just blocked up any spaces in there, and Jason Fan is doing a great job. Missed a couple of games with an injury. It's good to see him back and healthy and playing hard.
Loss of a couple. Third down and 6. In motion for the first time, Mac Jones out to the flat for Carlos Campbell. Campbell does a good job of getting away from some would-be tacklers and is down to the 12-yard line when that'll be a first down for the Crabbers.
Well, that was the same play that the Phoebus playing earlier with Maury Shanks, and they ended up with that 15-yard penalty or something.
Little extra conversation, not physical stuff. Here's the replay. This is just a screen pass, and Campbell does an excellent job and took a real solid hit.
Mario Blackley said, "Here I come."
And then after the play, Campbell was surrounded by about 5 or 6 of the blue and gold clad Phantoms. They were talking about where they might meet for pizza after the game. And but again, no pushing or shoving, just a lot of jawing, and I'm sure Mike Mitchell, referee, is keeping a close eye on this. But it is a first down at the Crabber 11, at the Phantom 11 rather. Again, Jones in motion, this time away from the set, and Forte right up the middle, and he'll score with ease.
Well, they put that man in motion, and a linebacker vacated that spot, just opened it right up for Forte.
So on Hampton's second possession, they do score with 1:16 left in the first period. Chuck Forte, a former Kickintan Warrior, takes it right up the middle with ease, as I don't believe a Phantom touched him.
Well, they made a swipe at him as he was going by, and they were being blocked, but what a great call.
Brian Smith will be on to try the extra point out of Alan Johnson's hold. Kick is plenty long, and it is right through the uprights.
And we got a penalty on the roughing the holder that time, Tim, and that'll be assessed on the kickoff.
First
They say roughing the kicker, but it was poor Allen. Well, he is a punter, but he was the holder, and he got leveled.
I know they can indicate who the kicker is by the demonstration that you saw there. How do you show the holder?
I don't know.
Roughing the
roughing the holder, right? I don't know how you would do that.
In any event, that will be a penalty. It'll be a major penalty, and Mike Mitchell will tell us. There you go. Bob tells me it's called roughing the kicker's holder. That's the long version of it.
See, he's always got an answer for everything.
Roughing the kicker's holder. I like that.
Roughing the kicker's holder.
Hey, are we going to name the player of the game tonight?
Oh, man, are we going to? I guess I need to say something about that.
Well, I thought you might.
Why don't we do that? We will pick a player of the game for both these teams tonight, and that player will receive a plaque and a shirt. The plaque comes from Engraving Inc., located at Tabb Square on Route 17. For all your engraving needs, contact Jim at 596-8850. Dave Buckwalter's the owner. The shirt comes with Islander Hardware and Sporting Goods, and they're located in Pocosin. They can meet all your sports needs with a full line of athletic goods, both team and individual, equipment and uniforms, plus screen printing. Call Dave Chubb at 868-8467. John Roberts is the owner.
First quarter alone, Phoebus penalized 4 times for 30 yards, and those
and 3 of them were had to be in a row.
Yeah, you just can't do that, and that was when they were on offense, and it caused them to not be able to sustain a drive. Now this 15-yard penalty, and Brian Smith will just boot it into the parking lot.
In and out of the end zone.
That was a 91-yard drive, by the way. The Crabbers, if you recall,
got it on the
9-yard line and went right down the field. Did they complete a pass during that?
Yeah, that little screen pass.
Little screen pass to Carlos Campbell. That was the only one, but the rest of it was on the ground.
Sure was. HCS Reports has a new look. Join anchor Beth Sadler Monday through Friday at noon and again at 5 p.m. for all the news and information about the Hampton City Schools.
As you look at the crowd in attendance tonight, a big crowd on the Hampton side and a good-looking crowd on the other side. Not a sellout, which is somewhat surprising to me. The Phantoms back on offense, and they give the ball this time up the middle, and that is Antonio Faison, number 7, who gets the call. Just a minute now remaining in the first period. Hampton 7, Phoebus nothing. Crabbers have the best power rating in the region, for that matter in the state, at 15.75, while Phoebus, on the other hand, is 4th with 12.88 in Division 5 teams. Flare pass near side. Shanks flagged down. Must have been an illegal block. I believe that's what we're going to see. Double team was done on Mac Jones. The Phantom players are saying no way, but the official will have that final word.
He threw a flag, so he must have saw something. Watch the replay.
Oh, that didn't look like a bad. If that was a block, if that's the call, that was a horrible call. They hit him in the side, and it looked to me like they had a head in front.
Well, if you got the head in front, that's what you got to do.
Mike Mitchell will make the call. A clip? Well, they were closer to it than we are, so I'll just let it go at that. But it certainly looked like a good block. Scotty, I don't know if we can see that again. Can we watch that replay again if possible?
And slow it down a little bit at the contact?
Just be curious. And we don't want to malign the officials. I don't mean it for that reason, but it sure did look like it was a good block, a good double team out there. I guess we don't have it. Don't worry about it. All right, from the 10 now. Play action. Mizell, ball tipped, intended for Shanks at the 30-yard line, and it was busted up on a good defensive play by the Crabbers. All right, let's show you that block again that was called a clip. I'll tell you, that looked like a good, clean block.
WHCS Channel 46 presents live your school board. All the meetings on the first and third Wednesday of each month at 7:30 p.m. So tune in and be informed. And actually, I want you to tune in on November the 17th, where we will represent all 4 high schools with the player that has shown academic excellence, and we will talk about those a little later. But that's coming up on November 17th.
3rd down and 19. Relative conservative call as McWright gets it, and you just don't want to make any mistakes inside your own 15.
You really don't.
So the Phantoms, on what will be the final play of the first period, have now a 4th down at the 14-yard line. And that is the end of the first period with our score Hampton 7 and Phoebus nothing.
Now, I tell you, you look at this first quarter, and Phoebus could very well have moved the ball down the field, got in field goal position, or even maybe scored a touchdown if it hadn't been for penalties. But you said 4 earlier. That one has got to be the 5th penalty, and every one of them has come on offense. And every one of them seem to have come after they've made a significant yardage gain. But it's just, you got to be thinking, boy, we're snake bit tonight if you're the Phantoms.
Well, you just have to understand the way the game is being called, and you have to play accordingly. And I'm sure Bill D will talk to these guys and explain to them that, not something they don't already know. They've got to do the right thing. They can't make mistakes. 11 rushes in the first period for Hampton, 101 yards. They average, as I mentioned, almost 200 yards. They're number 1 in rushing. Oh, by the way, they're also number 1 in passing. That's right. They
number 1 in the state?
Number 1 in the region. Excuse me. They pass 141 yards per game and almost 200 yards per game passing. I guess you could figure, or rushing rather, you figure they're probably number 1 in total offense.
Oh, well, that was not a good punt that time by the punter. Went out of bounds short of the 30-yard line. Zooms is giving an award to the senior football player on each one of the teams this year who has demonstrated academic excellence. These players will be awarded plaques at the school board meeting on November 17th after the regular season. Thanks to David Allen and Zooms for your continued support to WHCS and our student athletes.
I want to correct something. I said that Hampton is number 1 in rushing. They are not. In fact, they are number 5 with 197. Actually, number 1 rushing team is Deep Creek with 285 yards per game. What an awesome number that is. All right, the Crabbers with great opportunity now after that short punt. And the Phantom defense is going to have to come up big, and they do a good job of stopping Forte for a short gain.
Tim, I want to take a point here to mention the young men that's going to be at that school board meeting to receive those awards for academic excellence. Number 88 from Phoebus, Maurice Shanks. Number 10 from Hampton, Alan Johnson. Number 89 from Bethel, Clifton Copley. And number 74 from Kickingham, John Swan.
Definitely want to recognize those student athletes. 2nd down and 7. Pitch to Mac Jones. He's got running room, and he is down to the 15-yard line, which will be more than enough for the first down. Joe Lewis making the stop, but not until Mac Jones picked up the first.
One fullback tackling another fullback, and it looks like Mac is
Mac is slow to get up.
Slow to get up a little bit. Shook up just a little bit. Mike Mitchell says going out of the game, take a breather. Bring in number 43, Stephen Wyatt, just a sophomore, Tim.
11 yards for Mac Jones on that play. Ball marked at the Phoebus 15, and the Hampton Crabbers again threatening. Here leading 7-0 with 10:58 to go in the first half. Higgins with Forte and Wyatt. Now they shift into the I formation. The handoff goes to Forte, and he picks up a yard. So the Crabbers, for the most part, not airing the ball out tonight, sticking to the ground.
Well, they want to make a statement because Phoebus has got a good defense. They want to say, listen, we can run that ball on you. We're going to run it on you. And that's what I think they're trying to do, Tim.
In the region, in the Eastern region, Phoebus is 4th against the rush, allowing 81 yards per game. As you see the scoreboard there, just averaging – the opponents of Phoebus average just 2.4 yards per carry. So your point's well taken. The Phantoms think they should be able to stop the rush. They've done a reasonably good job, but the Crabber offense is just continuing to pound into that line, and they get down to the 10-yard line.
Well, that time they went wide. They haven't gone wide very many times tonight. Allstate agents Robert Mann and James Hudson can handle all your insurance needs from the car to the home. Give them a call at 827-1200. They're located at 942 Big Bethel Road.
Ball marked at the Phoebus 10-yard line. It's 3rd down and 5 for the Crabbers. Carlos Campbell splits wide to the far side along with Callaway. Near side is Derek Fenner, split left. And the Phantoms are in on top of Hagens prematurely. Now, whether they were drawn off or jumped will be the question. Crabbers tend to think at this point by their clapping of the hands that they were going to benefit from this penalty. Let's see how the call goes.
That's right. That's exactly what happened. For all your printing needs, call Gear Up Printing at 1909 North Armstead Avenue. Give them a call, 827-8277. That should be a first down.
If it isn't a first down, it'll be very close to it. I'm not sure just how the yard markers were set up. Looks like from where they've marked the ball, it's just short. They need to get to the 10, and it looks like the nose of the ball is just shy of the 10.
Okay.
Eagle
eye here.
The 5.
The 5, the 10?
5 and 10, one of those.
One of those. That's dime store, right? 5 and 10, that Woolworths?
At least. 3rd down and inches, and Hagens keeps it, and he'll get the touchdown. As the initial surge by the defensive line stopped him, but then he broke away from the tackler and walked in for a 5-yard touchdown run.
He had the first down, but he just kept on moving and made a little jug, a little step to the right inside.
So Hagens caps the 29-yard drive after the short Phoebus punt. And you just can't give Hampton that kind of field position. They'll kill you. Smith just barely got it up and through the uprights for a 14-0 lead here in the second period with 9:06 to go. Hampton 14 and Phoebus nothing. We were talking about before the game, and the power ratings as we watched the replay of the touchdown. The power ratings are something that a lot of the fans have a hard time understanding, as you and I have discussed. We've had a hard time.
Well, and it's not only hard to understand, but how do they figure it out?
Well, and I don't want to get into the mechanics of that, only but to say that my understanding is that Phoebus has a very good opportunity, according to the power ratings, even if they lose this game. My understanding is if they beat Gloucester next week, then they will be the 4th-seeded Eastern team, and that would earn them the opportunity to
play the Hampton Crabbers again.
So, and they would relish that opportunity. I guarantee you that they would, regardless of the outcome of this game. And let's not put this in the W column for Hampton yet either, but I will say that if Hampton were to win this tonight, they lock up the #1 position. If they lose, if Phoebus can come back, then of course I understand Hampton would still have a pretty healthy lock on first because they have such a commanding lead over the other teams in the district. As they say, more to come. Stand by.
More to come.
All right, the Crabbers will kick it off, leading by 2 touchdowns. Brian Smith will boot it back into the end zone, and that ball will not come out. So Phantoms will set up from their 20-yard line.
Bunny Brown here at all the ball games.
That's Bunny on the right. He's got his Crabber hat on tonight. Last time I saw him, he had his Kicketan hat on.
Well, no, he didn't. I asked him about that. And he said, well, listen, you don't bite the hand that feeds you. And he got the tickets from the Warriors, so he did not wear his Crabber jacket last week. But this week, he's got it.
All right, from the 20. Mizell gives to McWright. No, I take that back. He's got play action. Fooled knee and tried to throw to complete the pass to number 9, Dennis Taylor. but Taylor couldn't bring it in, and it goes incomplete.
Well, it was really thrown. He made a curl route, and it was thrown to the opposite side. He made a good effort to get to the ball, but just couldn't get to it.
So the clock stops with 9 minutes left here in the first half. This is homecoming, by the way, for Hampton. And I'm going to check with Scotty. I wonder if we're going to have the homecoming ceremonies at the end of the game. From the ground camera, this is Mizell, and the quarterback keeps for a couple of yards.
Big number 64, Robbie Robinson, and 77 Raymond Mann made sure that he didn't pick up maybe about a yard, and that was it. Just kept making him go east and west.
Ball is just across the Phoebus 22-yard line, so it's third down and about 8 for the Phantoms. Out of the shotgun, Mizell wants to swing the pass on the far side to McWright, but it gets too much pressure. Now it throws, and McWright can't grab it, but it's caught downfield after McWright tipped it to number 51.
We got a flag,
Eric Edmonds.
Well, because he was downfield and he was an ineligible receiver. I think that's why we saw the flag come down.
But I wonder now, if the ball is tipped by an eligible receiver first, can he in fact catch it?
Sure he can, if he's not downfield too soon. I think that was the key.
Well, he was downfield. 51, Edmonds caught the ball. So the officials now are talking this over, and that's an excellent opportunity.
I think there's going to be no flag because he touched it.
Let's listen to Mike Mitchell. All right, so we understand that Mike Mitchell's microphone is not functioning correctly, but he did signal that there is no penalty on the play. Now Mike Smith has called a timeout for one reason only, I guarantee you. He wants to know why.
Well, now, here's a case where they said no penalty. If the ball goes over there and the chain gang has not moved before that.
Hey, don't let that call, guys. We're going to tell you. Okay? Ready? Yes, sir. 51 was already called past the line of scrimmage. 51 caught the ball past the line of scrimmage. If I got they tipped the ball himself, that makes it illegal. They can't tip it. We didn't. 30 tipped the ball. Hey, a lineman can't catch it down the field. He can't be downfield. No. If he's on defense, he can't be down the field. He can't be down the field. He's an elbow receiver. No. They've already called him downfield. It was behind the line of scrimmage. No, that doesn't make any difference. No. He can't be he can't be downfield. It's a screen play. You throw the ball behind the line of scrimmage, you're on but you got to get the ball behind the line of scrimmage. No. But you got to have possession. You got to have possession. Only with the yes, you do. You got to no. That's wrong. Hey, that ain't no.
Well,
you kind of heard that, and I don't understand the rule if the lineman number 51.
Edmonds,
Eric Edmonds, Tim, he plays. He's a tackle. Now, he caught the ball. Mike saying he was beyond the line of scrimmage. Even though somebody touched the ball and then he caught it, makes no difference. He shouldn't have been downfield. I think that's what Mike is talking about.
That's clearly what he's saying, and quite frankly, unless there's a difference to the rule that I'm not aware of, he's absolutely correct. Yes, the ball was tipped, and therefore anyone can catch it, but the lineman, who is a tackle, was downfield. Is he allowed to be downfield?
Well, I think that was a screenplay set up, and they go on a count. And then, that ball should have been thrown earlier, so that's what he was looking for.
Point is, he was downfield, and was he allowed to be downfield? And another flag comes down.
And we may get holding on that one. That was to number 22, Tim, Travis McCrate. They're trying to get him outside, use some of that speed. Crabbers did a great job of stringing that ball out.
Holding against the Phantoms.
And right there's the holding.
So the penalty flags have unfortunately been much too obvious here in the first half, as the penalties just continue to mount up. But going back to that ineligible downfield situation, if Eric Edmonds is a lineman who is not allowed to be downfield on a pass play, Mike Smith is saying, how can he therefore catch it if he is down? He was easily 5 yards or more downfield from the line of scrimmage.
Well, and see, I'm not sure how far he was down because I can't remember where the line of scrimmage was because Mizell did drop back quite a bit to throw the ball. So, it's easy to get messed up because you don't have the true sight of the
and is it
wide open receiver, just a little tall for Maurice Shanks, Tim, wide open.
Derek Fenner almost picked it off as it was too tall for Shanks, but hit the ground before Fenner could hold on to it. And there you got a good picture of Bob. There's wave. Hey, that's me.
That's me. That's you. That's Bob, Big Bob over there.
Big Bob in a much prettier picture.
Well, you get on the other side, you get all the way over on the other side, and you get somebody really pretty.
That's right.
And it ain't Bob Killen.
It's a Killen, but it's
no, not you, Bobby. That sweet thing next to you.
All right, 2nd down and 18 for the Phantoms. Mizell screen pass, Joe Lewis, good block. Lewis will not get to the 40-yard line. Ball comes loose. Crabbers say they've got it, and they are correct. The official says yes, the ball came loose, and Hampton has recovered. So Joe Lewis on the screen pass got out to the 39-yard line, and then the fumble occurred, and the Crabbers have come up with it. Here's your replay. Good-looking screen pass. Right here, Lewis has got the ball, but then it's stripped from him. I can't tell from here.
He did a good job of moving the ball from where the tackler was coming to the left hand, Tim, but he then got hit from behind, and I think that's what caused the fumble.
So the turnover gives the ball over to the Crabbers. They'll have it at the Phoebus 39-yard line. Now, an official timeout called by the Phantoms.
That should be number 2 for them. Yeah, I believe.
Hampton Chevrolet urges you to support the community by giving to the Peninsula United Way campaign. You know, a lot of people suffered tremendously from Hurricane Floyd, and before that, Hurricane, and then Tropical Storm Dennis. So if you can this season, reach deeply into your pockets and give to the Peninsula campaign for the United Way. It's an extremely worthy cause.
Most certainly is. There's a good shot of Trish Mitchell, the athletic director over at Hampton High School. For any kind of dental work where it's quick and painless, contact the Family Dentistry, Dr. Scott and Hunter Francis at 2038 Nickerson Boulevard, 851-3530.
First half statistics that are really indicative of what's going on here, Bob. 7 penalties for 60 yards assessed just to the Phantoms. And, you know, the 60 yards don't tell the whole story. They don't tell you all the gained yards that are negated by that. So, you know, when you're playing a team of Hampton's caliber, you can't make those kind of mistakes. Higgins wants to pass, feels some pressure, now throws deep, and it is caught. Carlos Campbell brought it into the goal line, and he pushed off, and now a late flag comes down. But I don't think, well, I won't even start to speculate.
Well, Maurice Shanks felt like he was pushed a little bit, and then the flag came in. So I don't know if it was that call or he was saying that we'll see what happens here. Maybe we can catch it. Listen to Mike Mitchell.
The touchdown is going to count. Unsportsmanlike penalty will be called against the Crabbers.
And I think a celebration in the end zone.
Well, roll that a little further, Scotty. Let's just see what that celebration evolved to.
Well, that wasn't much of a celebration.
It must have been something that was said, because it certainly wasn't his act, you know, holding the ball over your head and having a teammate hug you. If that's excessive celebration, then we've gone the wrong direction.
Well, and now we have a 35-year-old extra 35-year
or yard
year,
not yard
PAT.
Yeah. Well, the Phantoms were claiming, Shanks at least was claiming that he was the recipient of an offensive pass interference that wasn't called. And then I thought, well, the flag came down. I thought maybe it was the Phantoms protesting too venomously. And then as it turned out,
we got an official over here talking to somebody that's on the sideline and told him to get off of the side of the field over there or something.
I don't know. In any event, the penalty. All right, the penalty is assessed 15 yards for unsportsmanlike. Something must have been said, because certainly the demonstration of holding the ball over your head to celebrate.
That was not anything that would have called for a flag.
I can tell you, though, the penalty situation here is getting a little on the ridiculous side here. And Smith has enough leg for the extra point, but it is wide right. So the pass to Campbell, and I'll check with Bob for statistics here as to the distance on that. I think it was. Well, we'll get back to that. It will return to Darling Stadium for the conclusion of our first half after a brief timeout. As you see, some of the fans along the sideline, along the fence, some of the younger ones in attendance there, enjoying the game and waving to mom and all that good stuff.
And enjoying their sucker at the same time.
But, you know, a little bit of controversy brewing here with some of the officials' calls here in the first half. And the Phantoms were furious about the apparent no call, not apparent, but in fact a no call on the pass interference. The Maurice Shanks, but again, you know, every defender thinks he's pushed off, so, you know, I'm not going to even speculate as to whether he was accurate or not with that, but it's just a shame that the penalty flags have been so frequently thrown here in the first half. Not that they weren't warranted, it's just a shame. This one will not come out. Again, those of you that may not be familiar with high school rules, you cannot return a kick that goes into the end zone regardless of your desire to do so or not. It's an automatic touchback.
There you go.
7:24 left in the first half. Join us late. Forte started the scoring from 11 yards out on a 91-yard drive, and then Higgins, at the conclusion of a 29-yard drive, ran in from 5 yards out, and now Campbell on the receiving end of a 39-yard pass from Higgins, and that was a 39-yard drive because it started at the 39 after the change of possession. So now the Phantoms from their 20 try to get something going here. Each team has 2 timeouts remaining. This is McWright, and McWright breaks loose out close to a first down.
He is such a quick runner, Tim. And look, I mean, he hit that hole and was through it, and that hole had to open and shut just in a blink of an eye. And he got through that thing and picked up the first down.
Picked up 10 right on the button. So the ball marked at the 30. Phantoms down by 20 points. Again, a reminder, they average 28 points a game. So they're not completely out of this thing, even down by 20. But they need to get sustained drives and need to get a score if they can before halftime. And then they need to figure out some way to stop making these foolish penalties.
Well, maybe they'll hope that the officials don't come back in the second half. You got to get frustrated if you're a coach, and you go out there and you prepare the kids, and then little things like that would just eat you up alive because you're doing some real positive things out there, and then all of a sudden it doesn't count because of a penalty.
Mizell pitches to McWright. McWright has the first down across the 40, out of bounds at about the 42 or 43-yard line. But again, a pickup of about 6 or 7 for McWright out to the 40, 43, 9-yard pickup.
Watch the replay again. This is the option, and just let him get outside and use his speed and his ability to make people miss their tackles. What a young man. What a good job he's doing.
Hey, after the game, make that trip to Zoom. Zoom's is your friendly neighborhood store. They got great stuff there. I'll tell you about it.
Oh, yeah, they got good stuff there.
McWright stopped cold.
That was a delay, and the Crabbers just stayed at home.
Speaking of cold, it's cold here tonight. You know it's good. You had good hot Beantown coffee.
Beantown coffee, that's
Some
good. And what
hot
goes good
fried
with
chicken.
coffee?
Oh, everything.
Would you like those donuts?
I like those donuts, Krispy Kreme donuts. You got your fried chicken, potato wedges, and if your car needs it, you got that Citgo gas. Zooms.
Well, you can go in there and fill up and fill up.
Hey, they're coming along with that. Zooms up by my house, too. My basketball season, I'll be using it.
I'm sure you tell them that let's hurry it up.
I did. 43-yard line. Play action. Mizell throws. Joe Lewis has it at the 46-yard line. Just a short gain on the play, however. Gain of about 2.
Well, Joe Lewis was tackled that time by Mac Jones. A little while ago, Mac Jones was tackled by Joe Lewis. But
Yep.
that pass was just a little bit behind him. Had it been on the money where he could have caught it and kept running, he would have picked up some yardage. But as it was, a minimal gain that time.
Nice play by Mac Jones. You could see how quickly he closed after the pass was caught. Lewis caught the ball, looked like he might have a little running room, and then Mac Jones just got there real quickly and stopped him at the 45-yard line.
We got
Got an
equipment problem here.
We got a
Big
Hampton Crabber. That's number 71, and that's Anthony Ware, who's got to have something checked on his helmet. So they'll replace him in the lineup for the moment with Stephen Williams, just a little guy, 6'2", 336 pounds.
And sophomore.
Just a growing boy. Over the middle, tight end can't quite come up with it.
He
Nice
would have had
job.
it if it had not been from Carlos Campbell.
Carlos Campbell, and it was a perfectly legitimate hit. He got him there right after the ball reached him. Here's your replay. Boom. Carlos Campbell separating the ball from the intended receiver, Shaheed Harris.
Well, Shaheed thought he had that ball.
All right, brings up 4th down and 8 for the Phantoms. Paul Pavlik will be on to kick the ball. Right-footed kicker gets a low kick, takes a nice Phoebus bounce, and it goes all the way down to the 9-yard line. Make that about the 8-yard line. So Pavlik's punt from the line of scrimmage, the 43-yard line. That was a nice-looking kick. 46 yards and no return.
Got a nice friendly bounce.
Friendly bounce, and it was one of those punts when you say, oh, no, it didn't go very high. It was kind of a line drive, and a Carlos Campbell type get a hold of that thing. He can be east and west before you have a chance.
Yeah,
Watch the replay. But again, it was the good job by the special teams by Phoebus to get down there and prevent him from being able to return.
They are doing a great job of getting down the field. They being the special teams and the Phantoms.
All right, both teams with 2 timeouts left now. 4:22 to go in the half. Starting deep in their own territory. This is Mac Jones, and Jones is tackled at the 20-yard line by Joe Lewis and Maurice Shanks, but not until he picks up about 11 yards and a first down.
Mac is running the ball real good tonight. He limped off the field earlier, but obviously made just a little bruise, and he's right back in there. The magic of Diane Limerick.
Higgins comes over to get the call. And again, you and I over the years have said, well, it's late in the quarter here. You're up by 20-0. You don't want to make any mistakes. You're going to play conservatively. No, I don't think so.
Don't put your dollar on it.
No, don't bet that money. Jones goes in motion out of the shotgun. Higgins fakes to Jones. Now draws back and says, whoops. Whoops.
Yeah, wasn't anything open, and
well, against an average defense, you might get away with that, but a good defense like the Phantoms, you can't take that long to decide what you're going to do.
Well, and nobody was really open, and by the time they were going to get open, he had to be maneuvering and looking to kind of save himself and see if there's a place that he could either run to or what. But great job by the Phantoms that time, and that was almost a 5-yard loss.
Yes, it was. Actually, a loss to be exact looked about was carrier 1 divided by 2. It was 5, and now a timeout has been called.
1 divided by 2.
Well, I had to do some quick math in my head. That's how I was doing my scoring on the golf course today when I, hit 2 strokes and put down 1. You know how that works.
There you go.
I had my best.
I heard you were real creative coming out of the bunker. I don't know how many one shot was.
Oh no, I didn't have too much trouble with bunker shots today.
Well, I thought one Bob said you were playing around, and he said, I think Tim left his bucket and his shovel in there.
Well, I was having a good time, and it was a pretty day, and I figured I'd make a little castle.
That's what he was talking about. He said, Tim spent so much time in there. I thought he was building a sandcastle.
Hey, Tim had his best round ever today.
Yes, he did.
In fact, if I had 2 less strokes, I was buying.
Whoa.
I would have cracked.
You and I will keep score next time, Bob, and make sure that he does get that low score so he can buy.
Right. Finally shot my age if he'd taken double it. No, I had a 91 today, which was my best ever, and so I'm feeling a little better about the game.
A little frisky, right?
Yeah. And I hadn't played in 3 weeks, and I thought, boy, this is going to show, and I may not play but once every 3 weeks from now on. 3.
That was a good job.
I had a good time. You and me and Bob and Joe Fournier and Ferniehow.
Phoebus Joe.
Can't even pronounce his name. I know him as Joe, and I know him well as Joe. Mac Jones out across. How do you pronounce his name again?
Ferniehow. Hey, when he called you the round one today, do you know that?
Called me a couple of things.
He called you something other than that? We won't get into that. Watch the replay. Yeah, I guess that's why they call him Phoebus Joe. He's got a name for everybody.
Mac Jones
looked good, didn't he?
Barreled all the way out to the 31-yard line. So we're down less than 3 minutes to go in the half. Crabbers with 1 timeout remaining. First down at the 31. Jones in motion to the near side. Direct snap to the quarterback in the shotgun. Finds Fenner, and Fenner has the first down at the 48-yard line.
Well, he knew that the spot that he was going in with Mac Jones coming in motion, that he would be open. We got a young man, number 4, Norwood. Looks like he shook up a little bit for the Phantoms. He's going to have to come off.
Michael Norwood, who's favoring his left leg. Fenner. So Fenner makes the grab, and they mark it at the Hampton 48-yard line.
It's a good shot of Norwood going off with Jerry Gentry. Jerry Gentry, former basketball coach, still teaches over Phoebus. He's the trainer for the athletic teams. Does a great job. And he's also an EMT, so young man does a great job, and they really appreciate him over at Phoebus.
Out of the shotgun, Higgins. This was a straight running play for the quarterback, and he is again at the first down marker, 39-yard line of Phoebus. So Hampton with plenty of time remaining, 2:25 remaining. They're again first down at the 39-yard line of Phoebus. Here's your replay. This is a straight run from the get-go. Marcus Higgins.
He just finds the seam that the offensive line is doing such a good job of blocking for him up there. And I'm talking about Michael Smith at center, Chris Perry and Dale Tidwell at guards, and Robbie Robinson and Raymond Mann at tackles.
Again out of the shotgun. And again, Callaway makes the grab inside the 20. Another Hampton first down at the 17-yard line.
Joe Lewis over there putting a stick on him, but these young men are getting open, and Marcus Hagan is finding the open receiver and hitting him. Watch this replay, Tim.
This one
Robbie
is
Robinson
especially helpful because he got out of bounds after the catch. Again out of the shotgun. Callaway.
Well, he got out of bounds, but I don't think it was his choice.
No. Well, I mean, he to their advantage, he got out of bounds. But he definitely got there with assist.
154. I don't think the Crabbers are worried about the time at this point.
Not at this point. First down at the 17-yard line. And this is Higgins, and he is stopped cold in the backfield. May have picked up a half a yard.
Joe Lewis did a good job coming in from the defensive end position and put the first hit on Marcus. Didn't give him anywhere to go.
Hagen's not particularly big as quarterbacks go. He's 5'11", 175 pounds, but boy, is he quick.
Well, I called Joe Lewis actually plays the strong safety, and he blitzed in there and was able to stop that run.
Second down after the no gain on the play. Jones in motion. And he's the intended recipient, and he's got it for a touchdown.
But what a nice catch. Is that Mac Jones?
Yes, it was. He was the man in motion. 17-yard pass.
Tim, he had to turn about 90 degrees to get position to get the ball, and I don't know that he got both hands on it right away. Watch the replay.
And Higgins is looking for him the whole time. And that was an excellent catch.
He was looking over his one shoulder. He had to turn around the other way. When you're running that way, it's hard to do.
We got an unsportsmanlike penalty again on the touchdown against Hampton. So once again, Brian Smith will be called upon to try an extremely long extra point.
Another 35-yarder.
So unsportsmanlike, I won't even try to speculate what was said or done, but a second consecutive touchdown in which the Crabbers have been called for the unsportsmanlike penalty. And now a 35-yard extra point attempt by Brian Smith. He missed it the last time he had to do one this long. He's 2 out of 3. This is a direct snap. They never had intended to try a single point. And the pass, that was a definite fixed play. Gunter came out and was the recipient of a pass from Brian Smith, but it was stopped by the Phantoms on defense, and that keeps the score at 26-0. In the ball game, Marcus Higgins can't get much better. I see there, Scott Cash.
Hey, how you doing, man? Scott,
Higgins,
how you doing?
for 5.
Another typical Hampton game.
He's saying,
what's he saying?
He's saying he's seen our coverage and he thinks we do a really nice job.
Well, he's saying, I don't think that's what he said, Scotty. I think what he's saying, I think he's saying that this crew does a great job, Scotty.
That's what he said. Who did he say was on the crew tonight? Scott will edit that in.
That's what I like about Scotty.
Who are these people anyway?
We want to talk about a crew. Do a great job week in, week out. What do you call these young ladies?
They're
mobile.
What are they? They are mobile cable technicians.
Right. They are Asa Carroll and Era Town.
I have a different name from each week. That's the latest one.
Bev Penn is doing the slow motion. Ron Baton, Susan Bowers, Nathaniel Braxton on cameras. Engineers Don Charouse. Graphics and audio Andy Foley. And the big guy Scotty Bowers, who can edit anything, make us look good or bad. Or bad, you know. Yeah. But he does everything. Great crew. And that's what Scott Cash was talking about.
That's
typical game because of the great coverage of WHCS Channel 46.
1 in your heart, number 5 on the scorecard. All right, the kick out to the 18-yard line. 1 minute exactly remaining here in the first half. And quite frankly, if anyone had hoped for a close contest, and quite frankly, I thought it could be, it's starting to look pretty ugly. 26-0. This is McWright who picked up the kickoff and got a couple of yards, but that's about all. So the Phantoms have 2 timeouts remaining. They'll start from their 18-yard line.
Hey, watch 88. Matt. Hey, Stud. Hey, Stud. Hey, Raymond. You gotta get to the outside.
Gives to McWright on the delayed handoff, and he is stopped in the middle by Stephen Williams, number 70, the big sophomore. Pick up out to the 20-yard line. A gain of a couple. And the Phantoms at this point, I'm sure, will just be very content. As you see Mike Smith on the sideline, they'll just be very content to not turn the ball over here, get into the locker room and regroup at halftime.
Hey, see weak. Watch his seam right here.
And now Mizell will take a timeout as he looked over the defense and saw something he
didn't like. I don't know what it was.
So, as Bob mentioned, this is our final regular season game. Next weekend, the games pit Hampton and Woodside. Phoebus is playing Gloucester. Bethel and Kecoughtan have got some good. We didn't have any Hampton kind of counters, so we will be off next weekend. But the following week, the 12th, is when the playoffs will get in gear, and that's when the fun really begins.
It really begins. I'll be back from the Midwest, and you'll be back from wherever you went.
I'm going to Charleston, South Carolina.
Going down there to see the South Carolina.
26-0. Hampton on top. They started the scoring with Forte scoring from 11 yards out. Higgins rushed for 5 yards for the second touchdown. And Carlos Campbell on the right end of a 39-yard pass to make it 20-0. And then Jones, just a few moments ago, Mac Jones, 17 yards. And the last two extra point tries have been no good, and that's where we stand with 21 seconds remaining. Hampton 26 and Phoebus nothing. This game videotaped on the 29th of October, 1999.
Well, Hampton is playing, their defense is set up for a pass. They've got a safety, 2 corners, and then they got linebackers, defensive ends drop back, and so they really got about 6 men deep.
All right, looks like the timeout is finally over. So the Phantoms looking at 2nd down and 8 from their 20. Mizell wants to pass. He's being pressured by Gunter and gets it away, but the pressure caused him to throw errantly.
Well, because he was being hit as he threw that.
Marlon Ellis was the intended receiver, number 30.
Well, Gunter did a great job of running through a block. There was a block trying to be thrown on him, and he just kept right on going right through the block and caused that to be an incomplete pass. Now watch number right there at the end, right there, it goes right through that block. And no way was Mizell going to get a chance to step into that and get anything on it.
The Phantoms burn their final timeout. Somewhat surprising, unless Hampton called it. Did Hampton call it timeout? Well, the scoreboard shows they don't have any timeouts now. I don't know.
I think that was their final timeout. I think they called 2. They had 2 left.
Hampton. Maybe it was Hampton called timeout. In any event, a timeout has been called. So.
Well, we have a stoppage of play. Yes. We know that. That's a given.
And the big crowd on hand here this evening. I don't think anyone is shocked that Hampton's on top, although it was a bit of a surprise. I really thought that Phoebus would play better than they have. But,
well, I tell you, they came out the first time they had the ball, Tim, and really looked sharp. Defensively, they looked good. They made Hampton punt the ball. Then it just seemed like it just unraveled. And penalties just ate them up.
Yeah, they were moving the ball, but then they'd have these penalties that call back to plays. The plays went extremely well. Of course, the argument can be made they went well because of the penalties. So, I mean, you always have that to consider. Mizell wants to throw deep and is picked off, a flag down, and I think we're going to see interference against Hampton on this play.
I think we are too.
It looked like we might have had interference. Now we have a little bit of a scuffle, but everybody hopefully will remain calm. There's no reason, no frustration starting to set in here, but that's not something you want to have going.
No, and you notice that the Phoebus coach is over there getting those kids back on the sideline where they belong.
Yep. I think cooler heads will prevail, but again, I'm only speculating, but I think I saw a case of defensive pass interference. There is no time remaining on the clock. However, the half cannot end on a defensive
Not on
penalty.
a defensive foul.
See if we can pick it up on the replay here. Mizell is going to just throw what in essence is a Hail Mary And what you may not be able to see there was a Hampton player appeared to push the intended receiver, Shanks, and then Fenner came up with the interception, and then he was rudely taken to the ground, and then some exception was taken to the way that occurred. But again, not a whole lot of pushing and shoving as you can see from the picture.
Just talk. I think it was just talk.
Yeah. Well, Fenner lost his helmet, and then there was some of this machismo, bravado, whatever you want to call it. But
where are you having your pizza tonight?
Yeah, really. Let's see what Mike Mitchell says here. And again, the half cannot end on a defensive penalty. And I'm only speculating that that is, in fact, what the call would be. Well, the officials are going to talk about it, and I think we'll be ready to have a penalty assessed against the Crabbers. Well, the Hampton faithful don't agree with the call, as if one would expect that they would.
You don't think that they would applaud, do you?
And and again, they may be reacting to the fact that they think the penalty was after the play, and of course, I think that as I saw the play unfold.
Yeah, it was called during the play before the interception. He called defensive pass interference. Let's see if we can get did he give it a signal?
Yeah, he indicated defensive pass interference. So even though there is no time on the clock, it will be an untimed down because of the aforementioned penalty. And now Hampton calls a timeout. Let's see, do they have too many players on the field? We got
2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 11.
And now I'm not. Well, in any event, the last timeout that the scoreboard indicates anyone had has been called. So we'll get at least one more play off here before halftime. Going down the road a ways, if I may, the possible scenario based on the power ratings.
And the information you got from who?
From Mr. Killen. He has provided me with.
Well, you got a book there.
Oh, I got a novel. I could read this later. It appears, let's see if I can find Division 5, Carrier 1. I'm doing a lot of that Division. Division 5 power rating.
That's not the way you kept score today.
No.
Dividing was it?
Okay. But here's how currently.
Hey, well, let's watch the play.
Oh, okay. Good. I was hoping I was going to have to film. All right. Mizell wants to throw. Downfield, and it's incomplete. Shanks almost looked like they were trying to hook and ladder.
Exactly what they were trying to do.
Shanks was going to just kind of bat it to McWright and then hopefully have McWright go downfield. But that is the half. But just real quickly before the half, let me tell you that Hampton, at this point, if the season were to end, Hampton would play Phoebus, the 1 seed against the 4 seed, and that would occur right here at Darling Stadium, just like it did last year when Hampton won 10-7.
And Heritage would play Western Branch.
That would be the plan as we see it. All right, we are at halftime, and at halftime our score, Hampton 26 and Phoebus nothing. We'll return to Darling Stadium for the third quarter of action after a brief timeout. There you see the Phantoms on the far sideline on the short end of a 26-0 score here at halftime. Tim Cole with Bob Hintz. At halftime, the Phantoms statistically 14 carries for 62 yards. Travis McWright was the leading rusher, 9 carries for 45 yards. Eric Mizell. Help me out here, Bob.
Leon,
thank you. Leon Mizell, 3 of 9 for 28 yards. He was not intercepted. Eric Edmonds, the leading receiver, rather. He was the young man who caught that tipped pass that was controversial about the downfield lineman. So your leading receiver is a offensive tackle. You know your game plan isn't going exactly the way you planned it. They had 7 first downs, did the Phantoms. They had 1 fumble. They lost that, but one of the biggest statistics, not that it's a huge number, but they came at such crucial times. The Phantoms were penalized 7 times for 60 yards, and their total offense in the first half, just 90 yards. For the Crabbers, they rushed the ball 22 times for 160 yards, and they had 2 rushing touchdowns. Those were by Chuck Forte of 11 and Marcus Higgins of 5. Mac Jones was the leading rusher with 9 carries for 70 yards. And in the passing department, Marcus Higgins, 5 of 5 for 114 yards and 2 touchdowns. And Campbell caught a 39-yarder and Mac Jones a 17-yarder. Campbell was the leading receiver with 2 catches for 54 yards and the aforementioned touchdown. Crabbers got 14 first downs. They were penalized 3 times for 45 yards, and 2 of those 3 were for unsportsmanlike penalties after touchdowns. And the Crabbers amassed 260 total yards in the first half. And by the way, they did not fumble the ball during the first 24 minutes. And after 12-minute quarters, 2 of them, it's 26-0. And there you see across the field the Phoebus High School marching band.
Well, one of the Phoebus coaches passed me as they were walking down to their end of the booth up here, and he said we'd be doing okay if we would quit shooting ourselves in the foot. And I'm sure they felt like they've done that. They have had a good offensive play series set up on our first series of downs. We're moving the ball, but every time they moved it, they had a penalty. It was either illegal procedure, motion, or something was going on, and that really hurt you. Tim, we will pick a player of the game from each one of these teams tonight, and that player will receive a plaque and a shirt. Plaque comes from Engraving Inc., located at Taft Square on Route 17. For all your engraving needs, contact Jim at 596-8850. Dave Buckwalter's own is Charlie Walker in his stand. The shirt comes with Islander Hardware and Sporting Goods, and they're located in Poquoson. They can meet all your sports needs with a full line of athletic goods, both team and individual, equipment and uniforms, plus screen printing. Call Dave Chubb at 868-8467. John Roberts is the owner.
Interesting, something going on and has been going on the whole time you were talking, Bob. Referee Mike Mitchell meeting at the center of the field with both Joe Lewis of the Phoebus Phantoms
Raymond Mann
of the Hampton Crabbers, and had a lengthy discussion, about a almost 3-minute conversation. I wouldn't even start to speculate what he was talking about, but I would remind everybody that there were some heated words and some flaring tempers at the end of the first half. Not only the players on the interception that wasn't an interception, but also the coaches. Both coaches and coaches' staffs had numerous conversations with the referee and the other officials as the half concluded. So hopefully we've got that one all ironed out. I'm sure Mike Mitchell has explained to both teams that he is going to call a tight game. He will not put up with any nonsense and any of this stuff that was going on, and I'm sure he won't.
Well, you got to be careful. Number one, Tim, you don't want to get thrown out of a game, because you do. That's going to take into the postseason, or you're going to lose being able to play in a game. So you got to be careful. Don't let your emotions override your good judgment.
All right, the Phantoms, who won the toss at the beginning of the game and deferred to the second half, will in fact receive Brian Smith's kickoff. And this one is again powered to the goal line, and Shanks avoided stepping in the end zone, so he's allowed to bring it out and does so out almost to the 30-yard line. So
nice run back.
Good run back, 29 yards on the return, as they'll mark it at the 29-yard line where the Phantoms will have it. And here is the
29-yard line.
replay, or not. Yes, no.
Maybe. Here it comes.
Here it is. He just tiptoed at that goal line. Had he stepped on the goal line, he would not have been allowed to return it.
And that was a nice run right up the middle. Trying to get something positive started is Maurice Shanks.
On the pitch, McWright near side, and he is stopped.
Ran into to the big man.
Late flag comes down. This in the secondary where Sarkey and Higgins had been tangled up. So the second half starts not dissimilar to the first with a penalty flag. A Hampton player shaken up.
Well, I think that was Raymond Mann was slow getting up.
That unsportsmanlike penalty called against the Phantoms. So Mann momentarily shaken up, but the penalty thrown downfield.
And you know, sometimes what happens is when you're the initial tackler, as Raymond was that time, there are other people come in tackling at this right behind you, and they sometimes your own teammate.
Dead ball. Unsportsmanlike. On the offense. 15 yards. Repeat first. Second down.
All right, so we've got the microphone problem taken care of. Scotty and the group worked diligently at halftime, and we had some.
Well, I knew something was going to happen. I got here, and Don Giroux says, everything's working. Nothing is wrong. I said, you're not kidding me? And he said, no, it's everything fine. Yeah, well, there was the bug right there.
All right, the penalty assessed half the distance to the goal line, or was it just 15 yards? I guess it was.
Yes.
Yeah, that's the reason I was asking. They only marked off 14 yards. So, oh, the tip drill, and it's caught by Shanks.
Nice job by Shanks coming and getting the ball and then picking up some positive yards.
A Hampton defender got a hand on that ball and popped it up in the air, and Maurice Shanks, with good concentration, pulled it in and tried to make something positive. See I think it was Mac Jones.
No, 60.
Number 60 for
Stephen Lee.
Stephen Lee, who tipped it in the air, and then Shanks capitalized on that and got the ball out to the 25-yard line for a 10-yard gain. Brings up third down and about 14 to go. Again, play action. Mizell has plenty of time now and throws someone into a crowd, and this one is picked off. Marcus Higgins there to make the interception for the Hampton Crabbers.
When you throw the ball up there like that with that much air underneath it, it's anybody's guess who gets the ball. And I know Maurice Shanks was concerned. He went across the center of the field and was wide open as we watched the replay here. But Leon had his eye on who he was going to throw to, just hung it up too high and was intercepted.
Wanted to get it to Dennis Taylor, and Marcus Higgins picked it off. So the Crabbers have it at their 48-yard line.
You'd hate to come right out and have a turnover right off the bat. And here comes Mac Jones again. Man, is he having a game tonight. Maurice Shanks makes the tackle. Gear Printing is a place to go for all your printing need. Any business cards, letterhead, etc. You get a personal touch that is only available at Gear Up Printing at 1909 North Armstead Avenue. Give them a call, 827-8277, as you watch Mac running down the field.
Marked the ball at the 36-yard line, a first down for Hampton. Mac Jones shining as he has all season for these Crabbers. And this is Forte, and Forte is
kind of
back to the line of scrimmage.
Yeah, it's kind of just an inside handoff and just trying to pop it on a little angle play that time. For a beautiful, Tim, for a beautiful smile, if you want to have a pretty smile and have a healthy teeth and gums, go see the Family Dentistry, Dr. Scott and Hunter Francis at 2038 Nickerson Boulevard, 851-3530.
Loss of about a half a yard. Let's call it second down and 11 on the play as Forte was stuffed at the line of scrimmage.
Stuffed.
Forte and Mac Jones behind Higgins on the option. Higgins now cuts it back the other way, and the Phantom defense is waiting for him, and they sack him for a loss back to the 39, almost the 40-yard line.
Well, that's what you do when you play where you're supposed to play and don't go with the flow. You've got a certain responsibility. They did it that time, and look what the results were, they being the Phantoms.
So a loss of 3 more yards on the down. So now it's 3rd down and 14 to go. So consecutive losses for the Crabbers, something that doesn't happen very often. But again, this Phoebus defense is pretty good. The score wouldn't necessarily indicate that, but you got to take in consideration the offensive prowess of Hampton. Mac Jones in motion to the near side. Over the middle, they want to throw it, and it's too long. Carl Calloway was the intended receiver.
Well, Carl Calloway started looking for the ball and kind of slowed up. I don't know that he would have caught it if he'd have had a full head of steam. You just need to put a little more air under the ball that time.
That is the first incomplete pass of the ball game for Mr. Higgins.
No, we're not going to have a field goal, are we?
Well, if it is, it will be a
57-yarder.
Carlos Campbell racing to get off the field. This would be a 57-yarder. Brian Smith got a good leg, but boy, this is really testing it. He's got it up, and it's going to be short and to the left, and that will be a touchback in the end zone.
Just didn't get it square enough. For the security of your home, auto, and life protection, call the Good Hands people, Robert Mann and James Hudson, with Allstate at 827-1200.
Has the same effect as if you had punted it into the end zone.
I mean, they get it on the 20. You're right.
Now, that's not to say if you punt it and you angle it out of bounds, of course, then you have some advantages. But
or they run it back. I mean, you got good and bad, right?
But, you know, we talked about it before. This gives Mike Smith an opportunity to give his son a chance to try some field goals so that if it becomes a factor later on in the close game, they can go back to it. So Mizell will get the Phantoms going from their 20 with 8:22 left here in the 3rd quarter. And Mizell is hammered. That ball is a live ball.
No, he's saying no, it was incomplete pass. But I'm like you, it looked like it went backwards.
It did go backwards. I beg to differ with the officials on that call. He was standing at the 15. The ball landed at the 13. You do the math.
That's what I'm talking about.
Subtract.
Back there.
No, you divide by 2.
Mike is upset because he saw that too, just the same thing that you were concerned with. Because even though your arm is going forward, if the ball does not go forward,
it's a lateral and a live ball. Nonetheless, not the way the officials saw it, and theirs is the only opinion that counts. Phantoms stick to the ground now on 2nd down and 10, and they pick up 2 or 3 yards. It'll bring 3rd and long for the Phantoms.
God, that's a great mark.
Well, I didn't see who the player was that hit Leon Mizell as he threw that pass to him, but somebody came through virtually untouched.
Ball is marked at the 24-yard line, and now an official's stoppage. We have an equipment problem with one of the players. So that's Edmonds.
Well, he's the leading pass receiver. Don't take him out.
Don't want to bust up your offense. Now Ellis comes in, Marlon Ellis, number 30.
And big number 75 comes in, Maurice Laughlin.
So 3rd down and 6 for the Phantoms. Ball at the 24-yard line, out of the shotgun. Mizell rolling to the near side. Rolling pocket in essence. Throws to Ellis. And Ellis has a 1st down at the 37-yard line.
Nice zip on the ball that time by Mizell.
Hampton Chevrolet urges you to support the community by giving to the Peninsula United Way campaign. Hampton Chevrolet at 1073 West Mercury Boulevard in Hampton. Here's Mizell coming right at you and then rifles the ball to Ellis. Good job between 2 defenders to pick up a 1st down.
That's between Mac Jones and Marcus Higgins were the 2 defenders on the play that time. But Tim, you see what they're doing? They're rolling him they give him that, not only a little more protection, but give him more time to find the receiver.
Mark the ball at the Phoebus 37. I formation. Mizell, short drop, throws, and Sarkey is hit immediately by Higgins.
Oh, man. And you know Higgins loves that. He gets hit so many times. Don't you know it feels good when you can deliver the hit?
Gain of about 4. Just a short 3-step drop and a quick toss, and Higgins drills Sarkey.
But look at this. It helps him up.
No.
And Sarkey patted him on the head.
Well, your good athletes have that same kind of respect for each other. So 40-yard line is where they mark it. A short gain, pickup of 4. Second down and half a dozen. Play action. Mizell this time rolling to the far side, throws for Joe Lewis, and Lewis makes the grab, but only a 1-yard gain on the play.
That is the hardest pass to throw, running to your left if you're a right-handed passer.
Stallion Brothers Heating and Cooling. Hey, they're locally owned and operated, and they service most brands. Give them a call at 825-1416 or 850-5564. Stallion Brothers. Ball marked at the 41-yard line. Again, another big third down coming up for the Phantoms. Third down and about 5. Clock moving with 5:23 to go in the third quarter. Phoebus on the wrong end of a 26-0 score. Mizell now appears to be audibling. Wants to throw, and he throws to Shanks, and simultaneous contact between Shanks and Campbell, and the ball goes loose, incomplete. Fourth down for the Phantoms.
Watch the replay, Tim. There was a couple of other receivers that were wide open in that area, but that slant pattern is a great pattern for Maurice Shanks. He led him a little too much, and he had to stretch out for the ball. And at the same time, Mr. Carlos Campbell said, hey, I got a chance at that ball.
No flag on the play, nor should there have been. Pavlik, Paul Pavlik's kick, fielded by Higgins at the 26-yard line. Higgins still going. The elusive Marcus Higgins all the way down to the Phoebus 45-yard line. What a nice return.
Run. Knowing there were some Phantoms that thought they had him tackled, and he was just gone. It was like trying to tackle a ghost.
So Marcus Higgins with the fine return, showing his versatility. Picked up 29 yards for his team on that return. Ball marked at the 44 of Phoebus. Again, great field position for the Crabbers. So the Crabbers back on offense. No scoring here in the second half so far.
I bet that's Mac Jones, Tim. I haven't
that
seen.
is Mac Jones.
But I tell you, I didn't see who got the ball, but he runs with a lot of authority.
Jones picks up 5. Ball marked at the 39-yard line of Phoebus. Don't forget to check out your neighborhood Zooms. They've got great food, drinks, ice, Citgo gasoline, you name it, they've got it. Zooms. Again, Forte gets the call, and Forte works his way down for a first down at the Phoebus 28-yard line.
Maury Pauling had a hold of his leg and wouldn't let go, and finally that's what dropped him. He's the kind of runner, Tim, when he gets the ball, you're going to have to hit him low. You're not going to be able to hit him high. Kind of reminds me of that young man that played over at, was it Deep Creek, that down in North Carolina now?
Dion Dyer.
Dyer, man, was he a load?
Yes, he was. Picked up in that big game at Hampton that year. He had 300 yards on the ground in that game, and Deep Creek still wins. Higgins on the quarterback draw, and he'll pick up a couple of yards. That was strictly a run from the get-go. There was no intent to pass. Quarterback draw.
Shaheed Harris, one of the young men in on the tackle at time, number 87, Tim, just a sophomore is Shaheed. He's 6'3", 270. Okay, Bill D's got a lot of sophomores on this team, Tim, that
they're going to be around.
They're going to be around. He's coming off. He's limping a little bit.
Hagan's picked up 3. Mac Jones checks out of the ball game, and you're right, Shaheed goes over to the sideline with a limp. And a trap play. Scotty called that one.
Scotty called it.
Chuck Forte picks up yardage down to the 20-yard line. Gain of almost 5. So 3rd down and a pair. What they're going to run next, Scotty? A little help from the sideline cameraman, maybe?
Scotty trying to tell us that he's not as clairvoyant as we think.
That's right. He's just full of himself is what he is.
That's what it is. Well, no, I think that was chicken he had earlier.
All right, 3rd down and a couple. The pitch
Raymond
to
Mann.
Raymond Mann, the big tackle turned tailback, and Mann picks up the 1st down. Gets down inside the 18-yard line, not down to the 17, and that'll be enough to move the sticks. Now we got a player shaken up on the play. And is that the same young man that was shaken up? Is that 87?
I can't tell from here.
Can't tell either. That would be Shaheed Harris.
34, Joe Lewis is down sitting. I don't know if he's got a cramp or not. No, it looks like 86, Tim.
That is.
Or no. 66, that'd be Jason Fan. He'd gotten hurt earlier in the season.
Well, that'd be a huge loss to them for postseason consideration. Hopefully he is only shaken up. Joe Lewis still down and now finally being attended to. So a couple of Phantoms down and shaken with 2:02 to go in the 3rd period.
Remember an extremist, you run, you're running.
Okay, so that was Jason Fan who was shaken up, and now he's able to come off on his own steam. Let's see if we can see what happened. Yep.
That truck is number 77.
Yeah, that is a truck.
Raymond Mann, and I'll tell you, you give him some daylight, he has got some speed. We saw that last week. He outran the secondary.
So 2 for the price of 1 on that play.
And Joe seems to be hobbling a little bit, maybe twisted an ankle. I hope that's not a serious thing.
He seems to be a little worse for wear than Fan. I see Fan being escorted over to the bench area and being attended to, but I think he's all right. But Joe Lewis seems to be hurt more seriously than Fan was on that play. So a couple of Phantoms, a couple of key Phoebus Phantoms go down on the play. 1st down was registered by the big rush of Raymond Mann. And so now the clock is restarted, and we're down below 2 minutes to go here in the 3rd quarter. Neither team has scored during this 3rd period. This is Mac Jones, and he is tripped up on a nice play by Edmonds as Jones got by him, and Edmonds just threw an arm out there and just got an ankle.
And sometimes that's all it takes.
Mark it at the 15-yard line, a pickup of about 2, 2nd down and 8. In the ball game, Mac Jones, a dozen carries for 94 yards, so he's rapidly approaching that 100-yard mark, and he's got a touchdown pass catch of 17 yards, so he's over 100 yards, all-purpose yards here in the ball game.
Sure is. Him and Forte is
double receivers to the far side, and now we've got a penalty flag. I think we had too much time.
Yeah, well, they had a split backfield that time. Forte and Mac were split. Scotty says it's going to the left, so let's see. Well, they haven't got it fixed again. Scotty, you got to get that guy with the microphone fixed up. Oh, he just got the.
See, don't you tell Scotty.
I think you did.
Don't you tell Scotty to do
I'll
that.
never say it again. Boy, my ears just went pop.
Well, my eyes are crossed permanently now. All right, ball at the 20. Higgins out of the shotgun, wants to throw, and he
That's
does.
Alexander, man, if I'm not mistaken, 22.
I believe that's who that is. And that'll be enough for a 1st and goal inside the 5 at the 2. Alexander Mann, a junior. Watch this. Jones in motion. Higgins just rifles it to Mann. He takes a big hit at the 2-yard line. So number 22, Alexander Mann, picks up the 1st and goal.
You got to come in on this when it. Scott, got to come in.
All right, Scotty, your microphone's working real well. Over the top is Forte. No signal yet.
And they came down before he got to the goal line, I guess.
I don't know how.
Run it again.
Look for the world that he got over,
Run
but
the
they
damn
say
same
he
thing.
did not. The ball
Was
is
that Forte?
I thought it was Forte. Was it 11, Gunter?
Yeah, I think it was good.
I saw one. I only saw
one. Well, that's because your eyes were crossed. You remember?
See?
You only saw 1-1 instead of 2.
That was the problem. Scotty opened that microphone up and crossed my eyes, and actually 1 when I should see 2. And now we've got a stoppage of play as time expired before the play was run. So they'll have to march down 99 yards in the other direction. And they'll try it down there where it'll be 2nd down and goal at the 1-foot line, if there was such a thing. Do you know when people say it's at the 1.5-yard line? There is no 1.5-yard line. I just wanted to bring that. Always wanted to bring that up. You know.
Well, I'm glad you did. Now you got that off your chest.
Well, you know, it's like when people say, "Hey, we're all tied up at 3-3." Well, you don't need this. All you do is we're tied at 3.
Yeah, all tied up. Does that mean somebody walked out there with some string or some rope and tied your hands together?
No, you missed my point.
Oh, I missed your point.
No, when people say we're tied 3-3, you don't need to see the second 3.
Yeah, we're tied at 3. Okay. Well, you said tied up. I thought, oh, they're tied up.
Never mind. All right, we've got 12 more minutes of this
12
fun.
more minutes.
Neither team scored in the 3rd quarter. Hampton led 26-0 at halftime. If you joined us late, shame on you. Forte.
Shame on you. You got that right.
11-yard run. Made
Should
it
be
7-0. They should be here. Hampton Higgins, 6 of 7, 132 yards passing in the ball game and 2 touchdown passes. So they'll march all the way down to the other end, where it'll be 2nd and goal at the 1. Hard to believe, but they're about to score here in the 4th quarter. Over the top this time.
Well, they're going to, for some reason, they said, Gunter, you get to make the touchdown.
So the Hampton fans rejoice as the Crabbers do score on the first play of the 4th quarter. Brian Smith has missed one attempt to kick it and missed another attempt to pass it. This one is right through the uprights as the Crabbers extend their lead now. Here's the touchdown. Let me see if we can pick up who in fact jumped over the top. Still haven't figured out whether that was in fact Gunter.
Well, I think it was.
You think it was? I'm going to go with you.
And they gave him the ball down here, and it was basically the same play.
All right, so with 3 seconds gone here in the 4th, it's 33 for Hampton and nothing. Goose egg. You know, I guarantee you that the Hampton Crabbers wanted to prove that they could beat Phoebus by more than Heritage beat Phoebus, because they've been listening all year about how tough Heritage was, and of course Hampton went out and thrashed Heritage. So.
Heritage looks like they were playing in a different league.
Well, and Heritage is, as we've already said now, Heritage could be potentially, according to the power ratings as they are today, Heritage would end up in the top 4, and they in fact would be third, ahead of Phoebus if all the things remain the same. So it would be Hampton playing Phoebus and Western Branch playing Heritage, and then potentially Heritage could play the winner of the Hampton Phoebus.
You know, we talk bad about those the chain gang. That young man leaning against number 1, that's Scotty's uncle.
I never spoke bad.
You talked bad about Scotty's uncle. I just want you to know that.
Nothing personal. So we are confirming that it was Gunter who went in from 1 yard.
That's what I told you.
I knew you knew.
Gonna run back on this one.
This one is taken at the 5. And number 5 taking it at the 5. Out to the 26. So Leon Mizell. All right, we're going to return to Darling Stadium for the conclusion of tonight's ball game. But first, let's take a brief timeout. Okay, back here at Darling Stadium, 11:47 remaining in the 4th quarter. From the 26-yard line, this is McWright, and he picks up a couple.
I should identify Scotty's uncle as Bobby Walton over there working the chain gang. If you know about Walton Sandwiches, and I don't know why Scotty doesn't get that guy to be one of our corporate sponsors.
Not to mention provide us with food.
Well, yeah, let's not forget about mentioning that.
Yeah. Ball is marked at the 28-yard line. Gain of a little more than 2. 2nd down and about 8 for the Phantoms. Each team has their full complement of timeouts. Mizell gives, and that one goes nowhere.
Joe Lewis just ran into Big 70 and Williams, and who was that, and Gunter.
Glad to see Lewis back in the lineup.
Might have just been a Charlie horse or something.
Brings up 3rd down and 7 for the Phantoms, and quite frankly, the Phantoms need to do more than pick up 2 or 3 yards at a clip. They've got to get the ball down the field. Boy, is that tough to do against this Hampton defense. Mizell out of the shotgun. And he is nailed as he throws the ball to Joe Lewis. And
that's Forte.
Finally going to rule that that it was a forward pass. They were slow to do that. Just looking at some of the statistics, you were talking about, mentioned that Hampton, their defense is so good, and you're saying, well, you know, how does Hampton stack up regionally against the pass? And interestingly, the Crabbers do not show up in the top 10 in preventing the pass. They do end up number 2 in scoring defense, averaging less than 3 points a game allowed. So you may give up a few passes. It goes back to that bend but don't break defense that the Crabbers have used so many years. Carlos Campbell's play action did not fool the special teams of the Phantoms.
Don't you think that there was about 6 young men around Carlos Campbell saying, what are we going after the game tonight?
Now the Crabbers are third best in the region at stopping the rush, allowing just an average of 1.8 yards per carry. Bob's provided me with all these statistics. I felt I got to share them with people.
You got to, well, yeah, share them with people. I think that's a good thing to do.
The last play was a 32-yard punt and a -9 on the return. So the special teams for Phoebus performing very well. So the Crabbers will start from their 31-yard line. And Edmonds is there to stop Mac Jones dead in his tracks.
Well, that was kind of a delay, but didn't fool Edmonds at all. Printing is our only game, and we're very good at what we do. So whatever your printing needs are, call us at Gear Up Printing, 827-8277.
And again, Hampton Chevrolet is a locally owned business, and they strongly believe in supporting both the community and the schools. Hampton Chevrolet at 1073 West Mercury Boulevard. 1 yard loss on the play for the Crabbers, back to the 30. We're under 10 minutes to go in the fourth quarter now. Hampton leading comfortably 33-0. Out of the shotgun, Higgins has plenty of time, steps up, now reverses his field. Still on the run. Edmonds misses him. And then finally, after running what seemed like for minutes,
picked up about 2 yards.
Picked up about almost 5 yards.
4 yards. Be third and 7.
They marked the ball at the 30, about 34-yard line.
Well, he ran a long way, as you'll see on this, to pick up a little yardage, but good defensive pressure that time.
Picked up 4, but ran about 100.
The beautiful teeth and the broad smile say more than hi. It says, I care how I look, and I go to the family dentistry. Dr. Scott and Hunter Francis at 2038 Nickerson Boulevard. Give them a call for evening and Saturday appointments, which are also available at 851-3530.
And we've got Phantoms in the neutral zone. Let's see whether they were pulled off or jumped off. 8:07 remaining in the ballgame. Hampton trying to keep their record clean as they go for yet another state championship. Got some obstacles in the path.
Well, there's always obstacles, but if you prepare right for it, you'll get them. The encroachment. Oh, they got a personal foul and the encroachment. They get them both. One's a dead ball foul. Wow. Need car insurance? Get the best. Call Robert Mann and James Hudson, your Allstate agents at 942 Big Bethel Road. Give them a call, 827-1200.
Dead ball. Encroachment on the defense. Dead ball. Personal foul. Unnecessary roughness. Defense. First down.
So you don't see it very often, but a 20-yard penalty assessed.
And we got somebody called timeout.
That is the 10th penalty against the Phantoms from 95 yards.
Wow.
Now a timeout called by the Phantoms. Bill D wants to talk to Mike Mitchell and check and see where he's eating pizza after the game. I think so. Hey, Mark and Kenny of Stallion Brothers Heating and Cooling remind you that now is the time to get your furnace checked out before the cold winter months which are coming.
They are coming.
Yes,
right?
they are. I can feel them on my legs. 825-1416 or 850-5564. And again, never an overtime charge. So good reason to call the Stallion Brothers.
You got that right.
Did you ever get your furnace fired up, huh?
Yeah, got her fired up. Got to go in and listen. I got these gas logs. Oh, is that nice?
Is that right?
Turn that little thing. Poof, you got a fireplace.
See, I like the natural wood.
But that's too much mess to clean up.
I know, but I like it. I got my cord of wood delivered last week. And in fact, I had a fire about every night last week. It was great in the new house with the fire thing going there and the big screen TV.
Just had a good time, didn't you?
I turn the TV on and go right to sleep. comes with
it comes with
the age.
Well, okay.
I say, I'm gonna watch TV for a while.
Well, that was a short while, but I hear you.
Oh, I slept through some of the best TV, although I did enjoy some of the World Series. I'd like to have seen that gone a little longer, but
well, I tell you, the Yankees just were not going to be denied. They just played exceptional ball and didn't made any mistakes. They didn't shoot themselves in the foot.
Yes, sir. Didn't know that was their nickname.
Atlanta Bells. Let's see what else. There was another team that made it to the Super Bowl a few times. Was that the Braves? Buffalo Braves.
Buffalo Braves.
HCS Reports has a new look. Join anchor Beth Sadler Monday through Friday at noon and again at 5 p.m. for all the news and information about the Hampton City Schools.
All right, after all of this, 1st and 10, Higgins still going inside the 40 to the 39, maybe the 38.
WHCS Channel 46 presents your school board live on its meetings on the 1st and 3rd Wednesday of each month at 7:30 p.m. So tune in and be informed. And make sure you tune in on the 17th of November, where we will recognize the players on the football teams from each one of the Hampton high schools that have shown academic excellence.
2nd down and 3 after the 7-yard pickup by Higgins. Higgins on the option. Gets a nice block, and it gets pushed out of bounds, but not until he gets to the 28-yard line. 1st down.
Mac Jones, nice job, and then him and Michael Norwood, kind of patted each other and slapped hands out there.
Glad to see Norwood back because he was still limping.
Yeah.
He came back and to play another day. Watch Higgins here on the option. Just a super job. He avoids the tackle. He is so quick. 29-yard line is where they mark his forward progress. That'll be another Hampton 1st down. And the clock stopped with the out-of-bounds play at 7:15 to go. Grabbers 33, Phoebus nothing. Mac Jones in motion. Forte with the trap play, and Forte will race to the end zone. Nobody will stop him. Touchdown.
A great job of on the offensive line on the trap and on the faking. Looked like Marcus Higgins still had the ball. Great job that time on just the whole execution of that play.
29 yards for Chuck Forte, his 2nd touchdown of the ball game. So the Crabbers up 39-0. We'll try to make it 40.
We got a official's timeout as Joe Lewis is limping off to the sideline. I got to get somebody in for him.
Again, the power ratings as they are, my understanding, we talked about this before, not to belabor the point, but if Phoebus wins at Gloucester next week, it is our understanding that they will qualify for the number 4 power rating position in Division 5, which would mean they get to do this again. That is take on the Hampton Crabbers.
Watch this
in the 1st round.
The play on this.
What a nice trap play. And I mean, Forte was just not going to be slowed down, stopped, or any of the above. It comes with 7:08 to go in the game. The Crabbers putting the exclamation point on it. After the game, make that trip to Zooms. Zooms is your friendly neighborhood store. 5 convenient Hampton locations. They've got your Beantown coffee. They got your Citgo gas. They got fried chicken, potato wedge. Somebody up here had fried chicken tonight.
Scotty.
I'm not even hungry.
There's Coach Trainham, the softball coach, and old buddy Wade, standing on the side and always got his hat on, always got a coat on.
On the left, just in case there's any.
Well, if you're not sure, it's the guy on the left, the big guy.
The big guy.
A former place kicker, punter for the Hampton Crabbers, as a matter of fact.
Yep. And eventually the Atlanta Falcons.
There you go.
Where did he go to college? Do you recall?
I'm like, that's not as big as he is.
I agree.
Goodness gracious.
He's about to drown himself, I'm afraid. Look at that. That is the jumbo bottle. He says, here, you want some?
No, I want that car.
I want that car. I'll trade you this jumbo.
He ain't giving up that bottle. You notice he still had a hold of that baby.
All right, Crabbers will kick it away. Smith. This is taken at the 8-yard line. Dropped it and picked it back up. Sarkey returns the kick, I believe, or was that Mizell? I couldn't tell whether it was 3 or 5. Sarkey? Yeah.
I think it was Sarkey that time.
Out to the 20. 15-yard return. Watch it again. Sarkey picked it up at the 10. 10-yard return. Math is, again, not one of my strong points. Mizell feels the heat, but gets the pass away. He's got a man in the open. This is McWright, and McWright is across the 40 to the 43-yard line. That'll be a first down for the Phantoms.
Well, Tim, I don't see Maurice Shanks out there. I don't know if he's hurt or not. It looks like I see him sitting over there on the bench. Had a good game up to this point. I hope he's not injured or anything.
23 yards on the play. And I'll tell you something, Mizell took a hit just as he released that ball. Good clean hit, but boy, did he take one. Tough kid. Right back up there, gives to Faison. Antonio Faison, number 7. Picks up a couple of yards. Second down and 8. As some of the crowd starts to make their way to the parking lot. We approach the 6-minute mark in the ball game. Hampton 40 and Phoebus nothing. Ball is marked at the Phoebus 45-yard line. Mizell in the ball game, 18 carries for 82 yards passing. 18 passes for 18 what? Passes.
Number 60, Stephen Lee, made the tackle that time. Wasn't going to be denied, but you got to be careful after you make the tackle. Don't do anything silly.
What of what? Ball marked just shy of the 45. Third down and 8 for the Phantoms. Clock moving. Mizell on play action, unloads, and it is tipped by a couple of players. Falls incomplete as Marlon Ellis was the intended receiver.
He leveled by Carlos Campbell.
Very physical secondary for the Crabbers. So that brings up 4th and long, 4th down and 8, and that'll bring on Paul Pavlik and the kicking team for Bill D's Phantoms. So now I got an 8 of 19 for Mizell for 82 yards. Pavlik, no pressure. He might even been able to run for that one. And it's bouncing, takes a Hampton bounce, and now the Phantoms down it at the Hampton 33-yard line. That's where the Crabbers will get it back. 4:49 left in the ball game. So we will not have a game for you next Friday, the 5th of November, but we will be back to cover the playoffs, and they will begin on Friday, the 12th of November, right here at Darling Stadium.
Right here. And I talked to Larry Malloy last week. They're going to redo this whole field.
That's
tear it up, going to
sometime.
reshape it, going to put in some, I think you call them slit drainage, and going to look good. Trying to get a cover for it, too.
Mac Jones across midfield to the 45.
He's running awful hard tonight.
Looked like about a 22-yard gain. First down for the Crabbers at the 45.
Is that a new number in the backfield? 43.
Yeah, that's Stephen Wyatt. We had seen him earlier. He didn't carry the ball earlier, but he was in there when Mac Jones was shaken up that one time. Eric Edmonds in on the tackle. He's been all over the place tonight.
Boy, he really has, and played so hard. He, even
caught a pass.
Caught a pass, and is probably leading receiver for the.
Mac Jones, by the way, on the night, 14 carries, 115 yards.
And well, add to that about another 5 or more.
And at 5, that'll give him 120. As Mac Jones is he is such a big man to bring down. He just bowls over.
Well, he's 6'2", 230, Tim, and guess what? He's a junior.
Actually, I stand corrected. I think Scotty just corrected me. That is, in fact, Wyatt that carried 43, not 33.
Well, there you go. So you take that 5. Well,
another first down for the Crabbers. Gunter in the backfield now, along with Wyatt. And Higgins checks out something on the defense that he doesn't like and calls a timeout with 3:01 to go, rather than make an error. And again, you might say, well, gee whiz, you're up 40-0. There's 3 minutes to go. What's the big deal? Why not just run the play? Because if you get into that habit of accepting that, then that is something you might do in a crucial situation.
You got a good point there.
So you've got to have the correct call all the time. You got to play every down just the same way. Well, talking about our players of the game, I think, again, a superb effort tonight by a number of players on both sides of the ball. For the Hampton Crabbers, certainly Marcus Higgins has just been a shining star again. Chuck Forte with a couple of touchdowns. Mac Jones, man. But I think we both agree that not an easy and clear-cut choice.
No,
but Mac Jones will be our player of the game for the Hampton Crabbers. And again, on the other side of the ball, good job by Leon Mizell. He's been moving the ball as well as he could possibly against this great Hampton defense. Jason Fans played well. But Eric Edmonds is going to get our player of the game from the Phoebus Phantoms. And not just because he caught a pass. This is Higgins on the pitch. And this is Gunter. Or is it? No, take that Wyatt. I haven't been able to pick up that number yet. He looks in stature about the same as Gunter. Stephen Wyatt, 43, is the recipient.
Well, they got him listed 5'9", 160, and Gunter is 6'1", 215. So I don't know that Gunter would appreciate you saying they look the same as stature.
Through these bleary eyes, what can I tell you? Penalties in the ballgame. We're talking about statistics. Still crossed from that thing I got. Phoebus, 10 penalties for 95 yards. Hampton, 4 penalties for 50 yards in the ballgame. Please. Higgins throws, and did he catch it in bounds? No.
All he has to do is have 1 foot in bounds, but he was out.
Alan Johnson was the young man who caught the pass, but he was out of bounds in doing so. Defending on the play, Michael Norwood, and glad to see him not limping. He had been shaken up earlier. 2:10 left in the ball game.
Guess who was chasing Marcus Higgins. Right there, number 51. Here he comes.
3rd down and 11 to go for the Crabbers. Higgins in the shotgun. Wanting to set up a screen pass, does so on the right side and throws it too hard through the hands of Alfonso Gunter. So that brings up 4th and 11.
Mike is saying, what is that?
So the Crabbers will probably go for it on 4th down and 11. Just 2:04 left in the ballgame. Higgins brings the play in. Jones in motion. Higgins throwing towards Jones, and Jones has it inside the 15 at about the 12, and that will be plenty for a Hampton first down at the 12. I tell you, Mac Jones got some great hands. He
does
not only run the ball well, but he's caught some nice passes.
And he runs some good routes.
I always have felt like the advantages to the offensive player when you put him in motion like that. When he hits the line of scrimmage, he's already at close to full speed. Here you're going to see Higgins spot Jones at the 12, immediately taken down, but not until he gets the first down. So up 40-0. The Crabbers again threatening at the 12. Minute 40 left in the ball game. Higgins on the option. And he's running out of option time now as he will be thrown for a loss back to the 17-yard line.
I think that was number 38 that made the tackle, Tim. If I'm not mistaken, that's young Adibi.
His number's all crinkled up. Looks like he got hit by a truck with a number like that. But
that's 38. That's Xavier Adibi.
But that was a great job. You could see how the Phantoms defensed that option play perfectly. They took away the pitch man. They kept pursuing. They kept pushing him out until he had no other choice but to eat the ball. Less than a minute to go now.
We got Big Raymond Mann in the backfield along with Gunter.
Raymond Mann gets the call and gets to the 15-yard line. That'll bring up 3rd down. Again, neither team in any hurry at all to stop the clock or anything of that nature with a half a minute to go now. The Crabbers will move to 9-0. Will shut out their 6th opponent. That's Mann. He just sheds tacklers. He just shrugs them off like they're bothering him. You know?
Like you're batting flies away or something.
All right, and the time does expire in the ball game, and the game is over with. Tonight's broadcast has been underwritten by the following: Hampton Chevrolet at 1073 West Mercury Boulevard. By Zoom's Sitco with 5 Hampton locations. By the Family Dentistry of Doctors Scott and Hunter Francis.
When gearing up for your next print job, call Gear Up.
By your Allstate agents, Robert Mann and James Hudson. And in part by Stallion Brothers Heating and Cooling. And in part by Wood Funeral Home, where Richard Pulley is the managing director. Well, Bob, we saw once again the awesome display of the Crabbers. They put points on the board. They score from every possible means, and they also play that great defense.
Oh, they just did everything they needed to do tonight, Tim, and really stymied the Phantoms. But the beginning of the game, it was the Phantoms were their own worst enemy out there. They kept making mistakes and getting the penalties and all. you wonder if that hadn't happened, if they could have got a score on the board, giving them a little more confidence. You don't know what happened, but I don't think that tonight that anybody was going to beat the Hampton Crabbers. They were prepared. Their game plan was almost flawless. They knew what they wanted to do. They went out and did it. And the temperature, the tempers kind of got a little out of hand at a couple times, but you're going to see that when you have two teams that are well coached and are expected to win. And hats off to both teams. And keep your eye out for this Phoebus team. They got a lot of sophomores on that team.
285 yards on the ground for the Hampton Crabbers tonight, and 155 passing. So more than 400 yards total offense against a good Phoebus defense.
Yep.
All right, that's going to wrap it up for us here. We want to thank our crew, of course, for their great job as always. For Bob Killen and Bob Hintz, this is Tim Cole. The final score again, Hampton 40 and Phoebus nothing. Good night from Darling Stadium.